Oh, okay, there we go. I leave for like a weekend and I come back and I forget that I need to turn on my mic and give it Phantom Power 48 in order for it to work. How you doing? Oh, hi, hey, Crest. Hey, Dusty. I'm doing good. How about you, my guy? How's everybody doing? I hope everybody had a good weekend. I had a fantastic weekend. It did include involve also burps. So saw a white-throated magpie jay. I saw a gray hawk and a roadside hawk just perched on the roof where we're staying. I saw some scissor-tailed flycatchers, which are very rare. Days without Tomboy being the first thing that shows up on stream. 0 0 0 0 0 0. Okay. All right. Fuck you, Brandon. From now on, I'm not gonna use the lizard no more. I'll look for something else. That way, you guys won't have anything to bully with. We'll see who's laughing. Imagine I take the one bit away from chat. The one bit. Um. No, no more lizard. We're gonna keep bully lizard. All right, no more. You know what? Hold up a minute. Where is this? Um, I'm doing the updates. No more lizard. I'm making an executive decision right here and right now. So I've had enough of these effing Monday to Friday chat on this Monday to Friday plane. If you take laser away, there will be no more. Yeah, I mean, this is what you get. No more lizard. Here, instead of lizard, you guys will have to put up with this from now on. Thank Brain. This is a new placeholder while I get things ready. It's not there, Brain. Now you can start counting the days so you see Mackenzie instead, the key master. Oh, hey, look, a guy. Yeah, it's just Mackenzie. It's just Mackenzie. All right, okay. I won't be that evil. I won't be that evil. All right, I won't be. You know what? I think that was a bit mean. Hold up a minute. I'll fix it real quick. Can make it. I was gonna say better. I was gonna say worse, but I'm actually gonna make it better. Oh, why aren't there any close-up of my guy? Yeah, okay. They spend all the budget animating all these other Federation troopers, but not the one guy I wanted to put here instead of the bit. There we are. We need a Mackenzie chibi. It's not gonna happen. If I'm gonna make it, if there's a chibi from this game that I'm making, it's updating Silex because I like his new design and view. I'm not. Uh, days with me blaming myself for the tomboy being taken. 0001 days. It's mostly the reason I say this is because not because I have anything like so outwardly against Mackenzie and all this other stuff. Like if I were to make a chibi, like I was gonna say, Silex and View, because those are the ones I would want as a sticker on my stuff. Like most of the time, like the chibis that commission Kubaushi to make aren't just for like Orpheon videos. It's also like, all right, I want this to put in my profile picture or um as a sticker for my notebooks and stuff like that. But I like if I barely have one of like Maurice and like Lyle And the guys from Other M who don't do much, whose names are in Adam and Anthony, and that's just mostly because I like their concept art poses and personalities that they didn't get used. Then I don't really want the guys who just ruin the immersion even more. So like, and even then we like those came in like a bundle because it's just like dudes wearing pants and a shirt versus Mackenzie, who probably would be expensive because he's wearing all his armor with all these details and layers and contraptions and stuff like that. And if I'm gonna waste a lot of money commissioning a chibi for my friend, this is gonna be my good old bro bot over here. Well, wear the same suit anyways. No, their suits are slightly different. Like, oh, you probably mean the Federation, the Other M Federation Platoon 7. If so, my bad. Where's the view, Chibi? The Ask Kuba. Don't look at me, chat. I'm using most of that for original content now, rather than chibis and stuff like that. Is the embodiment of yellow paint? Is this a King in Yellow reference I don't understand? I really hope so. Yeah, I read the book. I finished the book the other day. Yeah, we're gonna be playing some Prime stream. But first, I will subjugate you guys to maybe 10 minutes of Animal Crossing, if that's okay. You just need to do a few things. Original content, Tomboys and Sam is XL. I mean, Braid, pick your poison. Do you want the Mackenzie and all that stuff, or you rather the other? Yellow paint is the most AAA games. Is what most AAA games have used as a signpost for players for the last few years. Yeah, I guess I see what you mean with it. For me, it's like a little bit more horrifying that we're calling it yellow paint because that's one word away from the yellow sign. And as we all know, those who watch the yellow look at the yellow sign will be cursed by the black stars of Carcosa. Yellow paint is a modern video game. No, I'd rather see Tomboys instead of Mackenzie. Well, if we're gonna call the lizard that, then I'll show you more Mackenzies. Oh wow, there's this actual cool like team. Hold up, I got something nice to say about the Fed troops. I like this. There's this. I don't know if it's gonna accept a whip. It probably will. Yeah, it does accept a whip. There you go. Yeah, there's this picture of like the guys, the dudes together, and I think it looks very nice. Kind of wish that View was doing something a little bit more in character than just standing there. I think that the rest looked pretty fine. It's just like, I guess, a little bit awkward. I know they want to put Ezra in the middle because he's like the sergeant, but Mackenzie's all the way like over there in the right. Mackenzie sticks out as like a sore thumb in that image. It's not his fault. It's mostly the framing of the composition of the shot, where they're using View as a backdrop, as a background, and like everybody else is in front of him, but because there's four, they put him to the side. I think that they could have still fit everybody in the same picture if they put Mackenzie where Nora is, and then Nora is kind of like between Tokabi and Duke. There's like a little gap over there that you could probably squeeze her in. The problem is that then you wouldn't see her gun. Yeah, Views also looks off-center. I feel like, given that he's a very big, chunky robot, they could have put him in a pose that allows him to be in the center between Duke and Armstrong. And that way he's, like, encompassing and hugging all of them. Yellow signs. I've been seeing several signs in the road with the color yellow. Have I been cursed this whole time? I mean, the thing about the book is that you never know when the curse started. Like, I think View being off centers makes Mackenzie look farther out. Yeah, it's not only him. It's that if you look at the shot, I'm gonna put it uh like I'm gonna shrink it so that we can see the whole like canvas, the frame, right? If you look at it like that, um, the issue is that it's all off centered because we're centering on Duke, right? Tokabi's in a good position next to him. But I think that they should have just catered to Duke, make him bigger, make Tokabi as small as Armstrong, put those two closer to Duke, and then squeeze in Mackenzie. I just like the fact that yeah, it's sort of off center. Now I'm starting to see all the issues that there is to it, but I kind of just like seeing them all together like this. I don't feel like the game gives you enough shots or moments where they're all like together at each other and being friends, aside from the Predator handshakes and "You didn't die!" Ah, oh, you. You know. Anyways, subjugating to Animal Crossing for a little bit. Shadley, look, it's my Magic the Gathering table. I'm buying another one of these and I'm either dyeing it red or green to fight the mono blue player. Unfortunately, I cannot like dual dye them, but alright. It looks like there's supposed to be another guy off center. Let's say, yeah, if we're using Duke as a focus point, then everybody's off aside from Tokabi. It feels like that's what they wanted to do, just because Duke is in the center. He's looking straight. He's the only one looking straight at the camera, which is another thing that brings you towards him. He's showing off his like big right shoulder and stuff like that. Tokabi's just on the same size, so it feels like they're fighting for your attention. There's no like centerpiece. Albert, be proud of me. I started trying to redo my island again and make it less of a mess. It's taking forever, but I finally got rid of some of the overabundance of flowers and trees and moved the museum. I feel like I've been having this effect on people with Animal Crossing. Croco's Island also used to be, it was gorgeous in the first place. Now he's making it even prettier than mine. But it was also like a bunch of flowers and trees everywhere, and there's a professional Monopoly player. This music's kind of a banger, though. Yeah, shoutouts to KK Robosin. Gosh darn it, Puck! He's always showing up. But Midnight, no, I can't be proud because this is the only way I'll be proud, Midnight. Because I know you have it. We met in person. You lied to me in my face. In front of the lizard bottle while you're wearing your Kerbo hat. Like extra offense. Yeah, this is my living room. Hey, Pac. How you doing? Then I'll show this to Brian. Because I think he'll appreciate it. It's my save room. Like the ones in Resident Evil and Crow Country and Signalis and all those spoopy games that I like. It's just my little spoopy game save room. I might have to move the Japanese dresser because it's really blocking the entrance now that I see it. But I can't do it because Puck is visiting. He's not even joining me in the other room. Let me save my save file. Any Resident Evil players in the chat? Or Resident Evil enthusiasts, enjoyers? So yeah, this is my save room, my spooky game save room of sorts. Then I'll show you Rhett's sort of like work office of sorts, the recollection room. Yeah, see ya, Puck. Peeper! I promise that we're playing Metroid Prime, just... I'm looking for other opinions on my stuff that's not Croco. There's an Animal Crossing chat in the server. I'm probably going to start using it now that I'm back in this game. And I ordered a new capture card chat. It should be arriving on Thursday. I thought that it'd be funny for a debut stream is to just go fight Silex again. So that way I can just record him in the dialogues at the ending without the music in the background just for editing purposes. But, like, there's a part of me that's, like, sort of, I guess, masochistic in the sense that I want to play Beyond without the music just so I can have, like, clean audio tracks. That's what I did in Corruption. There's no music in my Corruption recordings. But I think I'll be fine. It's just mostly on the ending and a few, like, moments in the beginning. I just wanted to get, like, a clean version of Mackenzie saying, come back to base camp for future memes in general, you know? I feel like they should have given us the option to lock the house, but sometimes feels Nintendo doesn't very much like giving us options. Nintendo's never liked giving us options. Huh? Yeah, like the tourists. Like, there's a new Animal Crossing, in case you've not been aware, has an update. There's a hotel now, and tourists will come and visit your island and stuff like that. But I thought it'd be like, alright, the hotel is more room for villagers that come to your camp that you want to put into your island. But it's just random NPCs show up on your island and make it chug even more. You don't even get to decide who is on your island out or not. So it's kind of like, you know, a monkey's paw. I got the updates I wanted in some way. But... have you solved the stick drift issue yet? No. I literally, last stream that you saw me, I left the next morning at, like, I had to wake up at, like, 4 in the morning, and I came in back, like, yesterday. So, no, I really not have an issue, had a time to fix that. But if anybody has any suggestions before I have to open my controller, and, like, actually clean the stick, I would appreciate it. I'm very much disappointed in Slumber Islands. Oh, no. Oh no, how come? I haven't done those because I have a lot of stuff to do. Did you know that if you had residents leave your islands, they can come back as hotel visitors and recognize you? Oh boy, I can't wait to see Diva again. Just not talk to her. No, check out my throne. My million bell throne. These are my villagers as a reminder. Oh shit, Red is on the island. Chat, Pete, please. I need you guys to lend me your energy for a bit. I've been trying to get the freaking mysterious painting since September, and I've been playing this game daily since September of last year. I've gone and bought a painting from this little shit turd Red since September in the hopes of getting the mysterious painting. But he won't. He won't just give me the painting. How do you like my bird sounds? Alright, I'm gonna go check Red's painting, and then I'll swap to Metroid Prime. If not, because if not, I'll be here unless you guys want it to be an Animal Crossing stream. It's not the Slumber character, it's the thing like not accessing my own Slumber Island because I don't have Nintendo Online. Oh, you need Nintendo Online for that? Okay. It's kind of dumb. Yo, why are the birds working the quota? I gotta tell the guys in my migration office that the birds don't have to work their quotas. It's the fugly frogs. Isabel more in uniform. Not even my daily commute will stop me. Hey Albert, hi Shira. I was talking about Abyssal Yuri with Gabia just like before the stream. does not Pingu soundly. Money tree. I'm almost, part of the reason I'm almost also about to, like, pay my other debt, so. Yeah, I know, Shira. Speak it to the world. You and I in pawn, just handshake. Emoji. Yeah, here's like one of my migration offices. Before you enter the city proper. What's your asking price for a 51 game stream? What is a 51 game stream? She's just neat and so neat and so neat. So ridiculously neat. And so is, oh gosh, I just missed Reincarnation. The stories were just so good. On top of, like, the already neat characters. Like, I thought, like, Replicant and like, and Automata had neat characters, but then Yoko Taro is like, check this shit out. Gotcha game. I'm just sitting there like, what? Who are these characters? What are these stories? Holy crap. But yeah, discount Uno, what do you mean by 51 game stream? My asking price. Oh, you sent me the silly piano song bit from yesterday? Another thing I learned about Slumber Island is that you can't change the season or add/remove buildings. Oh, should have known that there's a monkey's paw with Nintendo. There's always an if with Nintendo. I'm depressed again now. Reincarnation was her morning dove. Yeah. Yeah, it was her morning dove. It was her killer magpie. Also, welcome to the Insanity Corner. Oh, 51 games. This is a collection of tabletop games. I mean, it's a game. Okay, so my game, I know which game you're talking one. It's the 51 board games from online, from Nintendo. I thought it was something else. Unironically, I would really like that game because Kroko and I and my family just likes playing board games. But the advantage of having that is just like, you don't need to bring 51 board games with you. But the 40 seems like a little bit too much of an asking price all these years later that I've kind of been waiting for it to be like 20 or something. Has ever been a monkey's paw as a bat? Zora's Wish with Nintendo? Who's Zora? Like the Zora's Domain? Also, chat, from these, who are you? Who's speaking most to you in terms of the noise or the look? I'm definitely the guy in the middle. You don't know about the story in Air Riders, do you? No, I don't have a Switch 2. How would I know the story of Kirby Air Riders if I can't play it? Alright, chat, please lend me your strength, lend me your luck. I'm not gonna need it. This might drive me more insane than Silex in Metroid Prime 4. Mysterious painting, here we come. Please! It's my favorite painting. Please! Red, please! Oh, you piece of shit. Alright, he at least has things I don't have this time. Oh, what a fucking shit turd doesn't have my fucking painting. In case nobody knows, the mysterious painting is based off the Isle of the Dead. It's this painting. I just adore this painting so much. But this fucking shit turd won't sell it to me. Meanwhile, Sprocket. Look at him. Ah, I just... Damn it. I gotta do the bit. This is how I feel when it's yet another week and he shows up and he doesn't have the thing I want. You must find the signal, Esther. if I could. It... Oh wait, Shira. You might appreciate then this like summoning circle from my weekend. I'm gonna just send it to you. Give me a sec. As soon as you put that, here's my summoning circle for the weekend. Do you need the painting for your museum? Yes, I need the painting for my museum, but I mostly also just want it for myself, to be quite honest. Like, I would donate it to the museum, but like, it's kind of like, all right, until I have everything else in the museum, I'll keep this somewhere on the island, and I kind of have like a spot that I wanted to do for it, and because I feel like a lot of the architecture and the ways I've been framing the stuff in my island take a lot of inspiration from this painting. So I just kind of wanted to pay respect to it in a way. But this little shit turd over here, he gave me the sinking painting twice, the Ophelia painting, which is also another one of those that I really, really like. But I got that twice, but not the. I've been at it every day since September, chat. That's why I'm sort of losing my mind. Just trying to see which of these do I... Or I got the quaint painting. The perfect painting. Yeah, there it is. Sinking painting of Ophelia. See ya, Shira. Hi, Ghosty. Are we playing the hit game Metroid Crossing 4 Beyond Taxpayers? Yeah, we'll be swapping to the remaster version soon. I always find it so weird that Sprocket does exercise. Like, bro, you're a robot, right? Why would a robot need exercise? Why not? He's just trying to be like us, man. He's human, after all. Yeah, I have 2 copies of the Starry Night. I have some copies of painting I'm willing to trade for the mysterious painting. I'm willing to trade for the painting in terms of other items. I'm not asking for it for free. Unless you really just want to donate it. I wonder if Sprocket or Sally are home. I redesigned their houses. Because Sprocket was like my default villager. I made the island. I lost my old Animal Crossing island because I had to switch Nintendo Switches, and that doesn't carry forward. Sprocket just had like the 3rd floor and nothing else. So did Sally. So I wanted to I went ahead and redesigned their houses because I finished the Happy Home Academy. Happy Home, happy. What I did was to go a day ahead and go back to the day Red comes. He always gets different stuff each time travel. What do you mean by that, Critkin? Like, do I just... You meaning like just go ahead until Red shows up again? Because if that's the case, I don't... I'm trying to play the game without time travel. And stuff. I find that just a more fun, creative, challenging how I do it. Oh, so Ghosty, I did see the view suit drawing on the chat the other day. It was super good. I like the color schemes and everything. No, Gabe, there's no more lizard because Bran cursed the lizard, so there's no more lizards on stream anymore. He killed the meme. Blame him. But yeah, Dusty, I really like what you did with the view suit. It's amazing. It's perfect as he is. All right. It's like at this point, it's like Red, give me the mysterious Sprocket, my boy. Hey Orpheon, are you bringing it? Of course, my boy. Is it how blessed I am that I get the Robo Bird as someone who likes robos and birds? In that the day I restart the island happens to be the same day as his birthday. So whenever it's the island's anniversary, it happens to be Sprocket's birthday. I am truly blessed. Thanks. I was not sure about it first, but I did like it when I finished it. I ended up liking the fanfiction idea of what it is, lol. No, yeah, it's pretty good. I think that the extra sort of logbook entry you added to it really enhances the drawing and the vision behind it as a whole. I always like it when I see like fan art that's just like here's like the blank suit Samus that's not in the game, and they still make like a logbook entry of sorts to try and explain how it works. I have Sprocket as well. Aw, dude, isn't he the best? I just love him so much. Oh, dude, I'm great at these. Brian was the cause for Lizard's disappearance. Yeah, Brian was the you could say he was the straw that broke the Lizard's back. Oh, this is my little migrations office for the hotel people. Just a little reminder that I'm watching them. Gosh, I can't wait for the new capture card. It was working sort of fine, but it's been back to its usual beeswax. Yeah, the view suit was posted on the Discord. I did my best to be prime accurate, thanks. I mean, worst case, I can show it off on stream, but I would rather just people go to Ghosty's socials or stuff like that and show them the support. It's their work, you know? You can post a link to the Twitter in the fan art channel if you want to go see. Please do, so that way, like, I really encourage that if people are doing their own stuff and you posted it on a social, you can you know, post the link to the socials on the Discord server. I would really like to help, you know, spread the word and exposure for some of the stuff. We used to have like a self-promotion channel, but sadly with the YouTube Discord flood that we had at one point, which I've always taken as a compliment, that people really flocked to the Discord to just chat and stuff, but it started becoming just I'm here to promote my streams and my videos and not like chat with other people, which was kind of like the idea that we wanted. It's just, you know, yeah, that's how I met most of, you know, Inferno, Pawn, Midnight, the rest of these guys. They're now my friends, my very good friends who won't finish Xenoblade X. You have a fan art channel? Yeah, we also have like an original works channel. So like if you're ever doing original art or writing or stuff like that, you can also post it there. But yeah, I mean, all I ask is like, please don't just use the server to spam your stuff. I like to, but if you have something and you would like to get it posted there and all that stuff, and by all means. All right. Let's swap to Metro Prime Remaster. If not, I'm going to be here all day. I really just wanted to play Remaster, trying to carry the wave of Beyond. And it's just like, this is probably this capture card's final stream. I ordered a new one. And my chibi's not updating. I guess I'm stuck as red for now. Now that's a problem. Oh, look, it's Cranston and Hopper and Rio and Puck. They're all hanging out. Oh. Look at him. He's a rock-hopping penguin. This guy's a little crane. He's got no thoughts between those eyes. And there's another, I don't know what bird Rio is. And Puck is just like a pink penguin. If I ever manage to create a game, I'm right now working on a fan game. It'll be fun if I can post it there. Yeah, I mean, it really depends on the project and stuff like that, but I'd also be open to stream it and stuff like that. Um, okay, so me and friend did a little pointless test. If you were to drive from the door of Ice Belt to the Flarepole door using the amiibo to boost constantly versus no boosting whatsoever, it's a 28-second difference. So, I don't know what to do with that information. I'll be right back. Food done. May be important for my diet today to be more than just bread. No, yeah, for sure. Get some protein in that. Items unlocked. Well, Chad, I guess I gotta go fix this. I cannot have this. 10-year-old me beat me to it. But it says I beat it on hard. Or did I not beat this on hard? What am I missing? Desaguardo. What, is there like a secret mode that I haven't done? We gotta go harder. Wait. I just wonder what I have to do to unlock the things I don't have. That'd be enough to, you know, just drive a whole different playthrough. I'm not even gonna lie. Oh, it doesn't even tell me. We just gotta beat the game on hard. Could have sworn that it did that. It's dark blue in the upper sections and down is later. I really like how you can see the viola suit just in a different color. Have you gotten 100% scans? I thought I did. Boom, 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 boom. The unlockables are title item completion, scans completion, heart completion. Yeah, that's what I thought. I just had assumed that past me already did it, given how much I play this game. Chat, do we want the narrations? Pass you, failed you? Nah, he's okay. European and Japanese versions of Metro Prime. I'll play the US version. Good old US over A. America. I'm missing 100% scans, but the good thing is I can restart through my finished save file and get the missing scans. Yeah, because they carry forward, unlike Beyond for whatever reason. You can have the narration on. Well, I already started without it. I feel the narration and the voiceover really takes away from the spookiness and the dread of the intro. It goes from like a 2001 Space Odyssey type of scene to an like MCU scene with a narration, in my opinion. This intro just blew my mind as a kid. Cause like picture this, I'm 10. I'm just moving to a different country. 2 days later, I need to undergo surgery. I actually love this narration. Yeah, I mean it's not bad, but like less is more. The infinite, like, it's like I got the same thing that the intro told me without a single word, is what I'm like saying, you know? Just like raw camera movements. Like, look at this size of. So yeah, I underwent surgery, and after the surgery, I'm handing over this game, and I think I was just too baked on all the medicines and all the things and painkillers they were giving me that this just blew my mind. You know, I went from Ocarina of Time and Sonic Adventure 2 to this. Sorry, Majora's Mask. Yeah, it's part of the Orpheon lore. Like, this is I know I sound very silly and stuff like that, but Prime 1 was really the game that made me into a Metroid fan. I just think it's neat. You know, it's fair. I just think that I'm more of a visual storyteller. I usually, you know, as the famous song would say, words are very unnecessary. They can only do harm. I feel like if I were an editing or a writing teacher, that'd be my shit post. Words are very unnecessary. They can only do harm. SA2 is a badass intro too. Prime 1 is cool though. Yeah, no, but you know, I went from cheesy Sonic, wow, radical ultimate life for Maria to like, oh, oh. It really makes me sad that this is the only moment in a Metroid Prime game where you're truly like in this situation, like in a true vacuum and just looking down on the planet and there's no music playing. Like this space station lives rent free in my brain as like the pinnacle of this is what makes these games so magical. The ultimate tutorial, scene introduction, and the behemoth just stranded in space. It's just orbiting over our planet. And then like it's quiet. But the closer that we get to the Orpheon itself, you'll start hearing more of like a hum that feels like the sleeping giant. It really starts adding all of this dread and descend into madness and stuff like that. Should have had that in my arsenal when I subbed at school, so my poor communications section of the Orpheon is withering away. Yeah, we really we need all the staff back. Wow. Whoa. It's just like I really like the little sort of like energy tethers so that things don't get flown off. Comparing to Ceres feels interesting because the intro super makes Ceres feels like a start of the third act of a story, while this intro feels more like silent and calm. Yeah, well, it's also like the Orpheon is a much bigger intro section than Ceres, but yeah, but if I fall into the void of Celestial Archives, it's a game over. I have to start from scratch. Which happened on the stream, and it was hilarious. Because I kept wording chat, yeah, Hunters is very much jank, man. I was just wishing that Beyond had more moments like this. Where it's just pure Atmos. It's not even like a song playing. All I can barely hear is like the noise of the frigate from the outside. That's coming from someone who flipped the cover of my copy from Prime Remaster from US to Japanese. No, I mean, I feel like it's just a matter of taste and opinion, but words are very unnecessary. That can only do harm because as a 10-year-old, I got that whole thing about the cosmos and stuff just by the presentation of the opening and the cinematography and the way the music begins to swell and the camera pans and Samus and all this other stuff. Especially with the opening shot just being the vacuum of space and it later reveals the frigate. I sometimes feel that people rely a lot on saying telling rather than showing. That like I just feel like reduce some of the impact some scenes might have because your imagination and all that stuff is way more powerful than any narration needs to tell you or stuff. I also like as a kid took it as like, all right, I gotta find the story on my own. There's nobody that's gonna be telling me about this anymore. Where I feel like if I played the game with a narration at the intro, I might be inclined to believe otherwise. But yeah, again, I really think it's just a matter of preference. Sorry, this is just my home. I can really spend 30 minutes in this space station. It lives rent-free in my brain. All the little intricate details and my capture card turning dark. So then, like, it just adds, this place really understood, like, build-up and tension of horror that I feel was in Super Metroid and stuff. Like, you already walk in this room. I prefer the Japanese box art compared to the US box art. Oh, no, yeah, that's a different discussion. I really think that the Japanese box arts of Metroid games are just way cooler in general. I can't really think of a case where a international release has a cover that I like more than the Japanese one. Even Federation Force's cover in the Japanese, I feel like it's better, or European even, more transparent of what the game is, rather than four mechs dudes standing, looking up into the horizon. They're like surrounded by space pirates and they're like in a battle position. I don't really think words are unnecessary everywhere, but I think that words are needed for are needed for everything. You can have something else to do the explaining, like visual storytelling. Yeah, visual storytelling. That's what I was saying. That I was doing as a bit that words can be very unnecessary for some moments. It's just that like what I learn or from watching movies and games and stories is that usually the moments that stick with you are the ones where the media assumes that you have a brain and that you're capable of thinking and assuming it's stuff. Because like you even see it in like like when you look at modern Marvel movies and compare them to like the classic golden era of Marvel movies, where they rely more on a character explaining what's going on and what's happening rather than giving you enough of a visual clue and clarity and juxtaposition and camera angles and lighting and all these other techniques that can like convey the same things. Usually like what I've learned is like if you have to explain it, it means you don't know how to explain. If you have to have like a narrator or a character explain something, that it might mean that you don't know how to explain it. However, there's cases like in the Armored Core. Armored Core 6 does as well, where it does explain to you. You have a mysterious painting to spare? Quidkin, I could kiss you. Quidkin? You come to my island real quick? What do you want? What do you want for it? Don't do these things to me, man. You can't play with my emotions like that. But
What I was saying is like Armor Core just throws you into the game, doesn't explain you anything, and so you have that entire opening tutorial mission to just figure out what is Rubicon, what's going on, what's all these ACs, and why you're getting jumped by people. And only like after you beat the tutorial helicopter boss does the game give you the, this is the this is how the world came to be. This is the conflict that's going on in Rubicon. And in that case, it was like an intentional decision because it's kind of like the opening of the game is you crash landing on the planet and then having to find a license and survive to kind of like buy your seat into Rubicon, and only then do they give you the bother wasting your time with a briefing about what's going on in here and why there's a war breaking over this. They really did a great job at expanding the atmospheric ideas of Super Metroid. Prime 1, even with its cheesy gamey parts, still feels like a real place because of how well the environment feels with sounds and visuals. Yeah, dude. It's just. This game really just blew my mind because of all that. All right, you tell me how to hand it over to you whenever you want. The thing is with this Critkin, no, I'm not mute. I'm just typing. Um, it's that we would need to meet in person for you to drop it because we cannot. This is Animal Crossing, so the only way that I could be friends with you is if I go to your island via online or you come over to mine. And we add each other to the best friends, and then if that were the case, and you can just send it through the Dodo mail to me. But given the fact that we're not friends, I would need to know when it'd be convenient for you to either come over to my island or for me to go over to yours. Te lo dejo a tu discreción. Solamente dime qué se te hace más fácil y qué te gustaría de recompensa. I consider my bid is like I'm a bounty hunter and I'm looking for the I'm looking for the painting. So I would like to be able to help back with anything if you want for the island. I don't like when it shows or games things where you're too dumb to understand some things. But then again, it's like a spectrum between really obvious and really confusing. That's why I like the intro in this game because the narration in the remaster they added it as an option. You get the experience at all the different experiences, and then come up with which you prefer the most. I'm just more of a visual storyteller. I feel like a lot of the things stick with you longer when it wasn't an exposition dialogue. Deck Alpha, emergency evacuation area, environment unstable. Like this is crazy cool because it's like, all right, we this is the first room, like the second room of this freaking stupid space station that lives rent free in my brain, and I could make an entire 10-hour long video essay on why it's the best Metroid area ever. Like we're still in the exterior docking hangar, and they're putting all of these because it's kind of like the information people going, space pirates coming and going from this space station into Talon 4 would get updates about what's happening inside the facility before they go inside the facility. You even get like this little window that peers out into the space, sort of like when you, as you're getting like into the decompression chambers, and it just appears like a hologram, and the way it moves and it sounds, it's like a mysterious painting. There's more windows over there. My capture card is really acting up. Oh, and then like you come here and it's like the depressurizing chamber. It's all of these like also little attentions to details that really like scared me as a kid. Like it's the environmental noises as well, and the fact that there's no music playing still on the little in the background. So, what moments in game shows you think dialogue are right to be in and don't just ruin the vibe? It really depends on the situation. I can't. It's not like a rule that one size fits all. It's a rule that, as an editor and as a writer, I've learned that like it depends on what the scene calls for. and what happens, because sometimes it can be more powerful if a character is saying the things and stuff like that, because it gives you the opportunity of showing not so much the character saying, but the more important thing, how other people react to the information. um if not, you have the effect of like the Star Wars intro text, where it's just mostly for the audience, which can be good if you're just dropping your audience into the middle of something and it doesn't have quite the same build up. But even like when you look at war movies like Saving Private Ryan, Full Metal Jacket, or 1917, they always find ways to make the visual and the storytelling tell you. I pretty much have everything I want for now. If I come up with something for exchange, I'll tell you. For now, continue your direct with no pressure. But all right, so that's perfect, Creedkin. And if you do think of something, please do let me know. But when it would be most convenient for you to like do the exchange of goods? What's cool is that these are all optional. You can just engage with the story with your own pace. You can just ignore it, but you still get a story with the visuals too. Yeah, like that's what I was gonna say. As a kid, I was still making up like what's going on in here and what are these doors and chambers and stuff like that. Um, and then when I did my second playthrough and I wanted to like read all the lore, it became much more fascinating because now all these little details feel like they mean something. Like, all right, the game is showing you these little parasites because they're supposed to be the little parasites that hijack their way into like the frigate Orpheon from Seves or wherever else the space pirates were stationed, and then you just like from this room forwards, they're building up and foreshadowing Phazon. We're still at the intro of the game. Like this is what I would consider true room one. Death caused by the severing of the spinal cord. It's like there's never a moment like this and beyond. You do get something like this from the Valhalla in Corruption, and then echoes with the Dead Troopers. Well, like, look at that fucking metal. The guy's just getting impaled, and then you scan him. It's like, oh, what happened to this guy? He's like severed spinal cord. You're like, damn. So yeah, like those little like whatever parasites mutated into this abomination. And this abomination took out the space pirates, and the space pirates are no freaking joke. So whatever killed these space pirates must be like something crazy. Analysis shows incredibly large muscle structures surrounding the jaw area. Fluid sacs containing acid are also detected. Platform does not look like it can be activated from this room. Alright. Yeah, but here, like, alright. No, this is just going to tell me the escape pods? Yeah. Escape pod entrance. The vessel has already been jettisoned. Evacuation occurred 6 hours prior to your arrival. It gives you a sense of time and space. Things only got... Shit only just hit the fan about 6 hours or so ago that the pirates evacuated. Biohazard materials, Phazon batch 0.0142.A, destination Data Beta. You're like, what the fuck is Phazon? What is Phazon? Materials Phazon, there's the name again. What the fuck is this Phazon? Why are they moving it throughout the station? Predator scaling. Honestly, I think optional dialogue is pretty alright. The worst kind of dialogue, however, is where it keeps interrupting when it doesn't need to, like a certain yellow paint soldier. Yeah, I mean, that's that. Or a giant brain in a jar 242 that does the same thing. Man, this game looks cool, but I wish the scanning took almost 3 times longer. And don't you mean that way that it also tell you 3 times less of like details that matter? Like there's also like none of this where you see like the parasites just nom 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 on the dead pirates. Space pirates, death caused by acidic burns to body, chemicals type unknown. So you start putting the 2 and 2 together. These guys just got fucked by these parasite queens. Death caused by severe flame damage to exoskeleton. This is also, they debated us in the Beyond trailers at the start because they, oh my gosh, we'll show you the scans. Space pirates. Morphology unknown, high levels of radiation detected. Radiation. A thing called phazon. Is that radiation? No, it's just biohazardous. So you still haven't put 2 and 2 together. Like, again, in the shoes of Samus, you just walked into this distress signal that just happened to be a fucking space pirate mothership. Detected. Imprints of large bite marks. Oh boy, it's blue energy. You mean blue goop. Forbidden Gatorade, unless your name is Pawn. Escape pod launched. Alright, so yeah, this shit just... Escape pod launch coordinates, Talon 4. Research Command Center. So, again, another context clue of what might be going on. And it's just the first room, and we already got constant clues of a phazon, which is a biohazardous material. That the things that went down in this facility was just recent because it was only... These escape pods were only activated 6 hours ago, and this told us that the destination was Talon 4, where there's a research high command. Anytime during the afternoon, no hurries, it'll be fun. Kritkin, do you mind if I send you like a Discord private message after I'm done with the stream and see from there? I don't want to overstep any boundaries and stuff like that. And by the way, also, dude, if you want to post your art with links to your socials, feel free to do so in fan art. I've been a big fan of your stuff since like the days of me browsing on DeviantArt and all that, so it really does mean a lot that you're here and talking and all that. Although this debris is obstructing the hallway, it looks like it can be removed easily. There's even a dead guy over there. Caused by excessive blunt trauma to cranium. Oh my gosh, this guy just got like the wall cave in on him. Fucking metal, man. Wow, yeah, his head was like inside the... Wow, so cool. So dark and spooky and metal. Like, that space pirate stays relevant throughout this game. Yeah. There's also this that doesn't happen in most of the other Prime intros. Where, like, there's an optional little room that you can come back and get that you wouldn't know how to use the morph ball until, like, 2 rooms ahead, and then you can go back. And I did that as a kid, so I learned... that taught me, alright, there might be backtracking in this game, or secrets. 2 Parasite Queen specimens have become volatile in Deck Beta. All security personnel should report to the biotech research area. Parasite infestation has been detected in the ventilation systems of Deck Gamma and Beta. So this is how you'll start learning about Parasite Queens. Talon 4, Ground Zero area secure. Crater radiation readings normal. Again, you're getting more clues of what is really unfolding on the story. It's the foreshadow. Signalist fans might understand this as your first visit to the Penrose at the beginning of the game. Frigate exterior hull stable and fully functional. I like that the space pirate's still relevant throughout this game. Yeah, I guess. I don't need space pirates to be relevant in every Metroid game. I wouldn't even really mind it in Beyond if they didn't do anything with them and they're just there for like the subversion of expectations slash used as a power scaling to introduce whatever new threat or danger Silex or Viros might have. That it, like similar to Echoes with the Ing, dwarf the conflict with the space pirates and the Galactic Federation in terms of the cosmic galactic scale, which only helps emphasize how dangerous the villains are, which is my issue. It's like a small demo of what the storytelling of this game will be in the main game, and it's so well made. You know why I believe this is the case? Because Metroid Prime 1, part of how I played this is that there was a demo disc for Metroid Prime 1, like the ones that you could find and play in Target and Walmart and other vendors. That was just the Frigate Orpheon, but you had the Ice Beam unlocked. And I remember as a kid being like, how do you fucking start with the Ice Beam on the Frigate Orpheon? I thought it was some sort of cheat code or whatever, but no. I like to, you know, I think like it's a relic from a bygone era where games had like demo kiosks, or they had to put like, you know how when you start a game in the Metroid Prime and you leave it on the title screen for too long, it plays like a demo movie of the stuff that you can do in the game. Those were normally made from like a relic from the arcade days, because that's how they grab your attention into what this game is and how you spend your money on it. So especially in Japanese stores where they have like 10 TVs playing 10 different games at once. It's the whole reason why Super Smash Brothers will default back, Ultimate will default back to the title screen menu if it doesn't detect an input after a while, so it can just play the cinematic on loop and stuff, and that way you start the demo movie. So, like, games like this needed to get you to have a feeling of what the game might be from the demo movie, and then the playable demo at kiosks to convince you to buy them. Um, and I feel like with how now Nintendo can do that, but it's a fancy Nancy now edited trailer and stuff like that. Um, then it's a relic of a bygone era. I've seen a couple of indie games still do it for the spirit of it, but I usually seen it as like sadly something that died in the past because it sort of did force, like, if you think about Kokiri Forest or any of the other games from like the GameCube backwards, because it was really during the PS3 and Wii era that demo kiosks start dying, that they didn't have to worry about putting like a teaser at the intro. Also cool, this room, because you can once again see Talent 4. It's the map facility, and it's the room that tells you that Ground Zero is on Talent 4. There's a Ground Zero on Talent 4, so something crashed over there, or a spread happened there. And the Space Pirates set a high command over there. These are more context clues that we're getting, which I really felt that the Beyond had it with its intro, but it's only alluding to the artifact. But because we don't learn about the artifact as much as we do about the as the Phazon or the Chozo artifacts, then it feels kind of a little bit hollow. Specimen containment breach in Deck Beta. All crew report for lockdown. And again, there's not many rooms like this where there's some verticality to them, which I think is what helped Metroid Prime feel like a Metroid game, because like when you played Super Metroid and the other ones, you're jumping from one place to another. Specimen cell C unknown. Rejection of Phazon compound detected. Rejection of Phazon. Hibernation transfer to Phazon batch. Alright, so whatever this biohazard thing might have been the thing that made these turn these parasites into parasite queens, and the pirates are testing them over here. No problema, será divertido. Alright, thank you so much, Critkin. Dude, you have no idea how much this means to me. The mysterious painting. It's been my white whale. It's weird how yellow orange Talon 4 looks like the next area is like full of green forest and jungle areas. Yeah, I kind of also like it because it makes you think of one thing. So when you land on the planet into this foresty area and all this other stuff, it feels quite magical, I guess. I want to use it for Easter eggs, yeah. We don't learn that much about Ridley, though. It doesn't really matter, to be quite honest, because the story was never really about Ridley. And it was really never, like, established to be a Ridley story, quite like either Super Metroid might have made it, or Beyond did it with Silex. Because you get the context over here that even on the Frigate Orpheon, you got the context that they just brought Ridley's corpse and they were trying to reanimate the body just so they could use it as a weapon. But Ridley's personality was also reanimated alongside it, so they couldn't use that for anything else. And there's like the establishment of a high command and whatever that, like, I felt like once again it's just a red herring. Ridley is just a motivator for Samus to chase him down on the planet outside of the information that she's gaining about space pirates dealing with Phazon. And even then, like in the newer games, you don't like. Part of the reason I also like this game, the horror aspect, is that there's the psychological horror about what Phazon can do, but there's also a lot of like the biological body horror with all the close-ups and internal scans of the space pirates' anatomy and how the Phazon is like mutating their bodies and stuff like that. Rejection of Phazon. Both legs of this creature are broken. I'll give him a hand. Oh yeah, and there's like blood splatters after you kill things, even if it's green. Oh, this one was also pretty cool. Combat mutation applications are complete. primary legs of this creature possesses galvanized tips, allowing it to penetrate any known alloy. The fluid sacs in its mouth enlarge after mutation. This follows for increased production of corrosive bile. Parasite egg in pupa stage. Its tough exoskeleton protects it from its mother's acidic embryonic fluid. Like, you just get a lot of the biology of these parasite queens, which again helps enhance the horror of Phazon and the type of mutations it's doing on the creatures. After mutation, the carapace of the larva becomes rigid. The carapace is quite resilient, able to resist the attacks of many predators. You know, you get, like, part of the reason I like the orange scans in this game, especially when it's in, like, a pirate facility, is that they're usually just telling you things that the pirates are doing within the facilities. That I feel that Icebelt could have just have the same type of build-up for whatever Patient Zero was in the quarantine zone. And they're using him or it as a basis for their experiments on green energy. So part of the facility is like them testing the green energy on the wolves or whatever other creature that mutated from it, and then using both of those to try and find the solution to their problems. Phazon is such a good cosmic horror concept, especially in Prime 1, since it's just a random meteor out of space you don't know the origins of and can happen anywhere. Yeah, but it's also like how they paint the picture with the Orpheon and the pirates trying to get to it, and how the Phazon is labeled as a great poison by the Chozos. Not to mention, this game has a recording to logbook sound effect that I really don't know why they didn't add into the other one. Verticality helps Prime games to make movement actually engaging to just slow walking. Not only that, but like I think it's another way of bringing back Samus's Chozo roots as a bird. Her agility and jumping all over the place. I've heard a lot of people complain that the Metro Prime Samus doesn't quite feel like the 2D games because of the speed and the agility, which is totally understandable, but I felt like these games compensated more with the verticality and Samus feeling kind of like an immovable object versus like Beyond, where when you remove that, it really just feels like she's just, you know, cell structure stable. So you can say that this is helping with cell proliferation. Introducing mutagen into tank, Phazon batch status complete. So yeah, you can see like them testing Phazon on other creatures, and then you naturally, as you progress through the game, see them doing it on their own men, and with a disregard for their own safety and stuff. I've been thinking how about Ridley is actually intelligent and can actually speak, but I now think that while that's cool, Ridley speaking wouldn't really fit in a Metroid game, and perhaps his intelligence could be displayed in other ways. I feel like, again, words are very unnecessary. They can only do harm. Ridley being smart, capable of speaking, but refusing to speak while he's doing all of these atrocities and stuff is what makes him more scary for me. Is the fact that he's willing to communicate, he's sentient, he's super smart, but he just doesn't give a shit. He won't even give his like adversary the time of doing that stuff because he's just gonna kill them. And I think that's just what makes him even more ominous, is the fact that if you don't know that context, Ridley seems just like a mindless beast sort of thing. But it adds more of those layers of like how evil and conniving he is, that he just like uses that as in sort of like a bait into people thinking that he's dumber than he looks. And so it's sort of like a psychological warfare tactic of sorts. Especially use its maps designed to make the gameplay still feel like a typical Metro experience. How about finding logs written by Ridley? That would be cool. Finding logs that Ridley himself wrote would be cool. I would make it in the angle that it feels like it's just from whatever pirate that's writing them, and then towards the end or in a particular room, you add the twist that it's from Ridley's perspective. And that would probably be more impactful than if you know it's Ridley writing these from the get-go. Pirate data. Space pirate encrypted data. This is decoded. This is where it all changes. Savas has fallen. All ground personnel are presumed dead, either killed by the hunter clad in metal or its subsequent destruction of the underground facilities. Our research frigates Orpheon, Syracuse, and Bull Paragon were in orbit at hour 0 and managed to retreat. frigate Orpheon is now docked at Vortex Outpost. Orpheon's cargo appears to have a 100% survival rate. Metroids are healthy, but on restricted feeding schedules due to the uncertain supply status. We're ready to begin research on the Metroids and other promising life forms. Security status remains at Code Blue. No signs of pursuit from the hunter. You go, and this is the moment like Metroid players would go like, ah, shit. And Kit Me, who again, this is his first Metro game, would be like, ah, so that's what happens in the previous game. Okay, this is why it's important. Metroids were taken away after all that thing in whatever Sebas. Okay, other Empress, I adore how Ridley in that game is using his appearance as an advantage too. Yeah. Oh, to say, why boast when I won't remember you by the end of this day? Ridley, maybe. Yeah, for sure. And like here you see more like of those creatures that they're experimenting on. Not just like to study they're studying like the species of Talonflor and other things that they brought aboard and how they react to Phazon. And there's this little guy sort of like adding that eeriness. Is he gonna break out? And it's like a call out to the side hopper from like the other Metro Prime games. Yeah. Hold on, Croco break. Yeah. Perfect. Coco's culinary menu is done. I'm gonna take this opportunity that I took off my headphones to get some coffee. I'll leave you guys with the spooky intro. Got your little new glasses. Hold on. I'm gonna slap my capture card also a little bit. I like the fact that my capture card is not just doing and acting up. On Beyond is just acting up with anything. So it makes me feel better about like the new purchase I did. Alright. US sugar bomb coffee or rest of the world black coffee? I like my coffee like I like my women. Neat, and that they can kick me and they can kick my ass, so the rest of the world. Ah, shit. Spilled coffee on me already. Fuck. I knew this was gonna happen. I just got spooked by the thing, man. It might break open. Beauty of the text is you can tell a lot without spending much resources. And those resources also mean like finding a voice actor and then spending time directing them and helping them get into character so they can do the delivery that you want. Else you get some of the stiffness from Other M and Beyond. Or let alone Breath of the Wild. Specimens exhibit incredible strength and body mass increase when exposed to Phazon batch. Infusion analysis. Phazon batch increases the acid production in the saliva ducts of parasite larvae. So like again, this is all here just to paint a picture of what Phazon might be. And why this is why Samus decides to go down on the planet. Biohazard waste removal may begin in 3 hours. Phazon radiation readings must be reported to deck commander before batch disposal. Sometimes I do add a little bit of sugar to the coffee. It's just a teeny bit. Especially like if I'm already having like a spicy breakfast, because I really like adding crazy picanticos. on my breakfast and stuff, just to like wake me up. I tend to have a little bit more sugar in the coffee just so that my tongue isn't extra burning. Hermetic seal holding. So yeah, even there, plated parasite native to Talon 4. Zoomer. I just think it's cool. They're just reusing all the models of creatures they have, but they're putting them in a context where it really helps sell the Orpheon. Still crazy to me that they gave Zelda games South American Spanish dub. Yeah, no, that is legitimately cool. That there is a South America, Latin America dub. I actually recognize some of the voice actors from shows and stuff that and whatever, which is also cool. I was more excited about that, the reveal of that cast, than the Matthew Mercer as Ganondorf in Tears of the Kingdom. But it's just like the nostalgia, the rose-tipped goggles and stuff. I also like the fact that the pirates. It adds more to the conflict that the pirates, even when they would rather just go out dying in combat like a good Klingor. Especially if it's against Samus, and just let her waltz in. Ventilation covers may become superheated if airflow is restricted. Unusual thermal readings should be reported to deck engineers on duty. Obstruction detected in reactor ventilation system. Engineering crew reported the freight lift corridor immediately. Security codes on outer turrets are changed every other lunar cycle. Using improper codes may result in turret activation. Again, there's foreshadowing where the Parasite Queen is at. They got Inuyasha to voice Virali. I was like, yo, yeah, that was crazy. I remember watching a lot of Inuyasha when I got Metroid Prime for the first time growing up. Death caused by severe lacerations to the abdomen. So it was like extra sort of heartwarming to me, I guess. I also used to watch a lot of like Shaman King, Senseiya. Growing up, I guess I had like the luxury. Also, we have like a diagonal elevator in this game. We got a diagonal elevator. There's the one pirate at full strength, for a foreshadow of how tough they are later on in the game. Oh look, the cooler Metroid Prime. Of course, not the best, but the better. Is it not the? Are you saying, Pon, that it's not the best because it doesn't have Dang Samosa? Pirates, when they realize, no longer just aim straight and up. Status: death caused by removal of internal organs. Damn. Yes. All right. I should have guessed as much. But yeah, look, this game even has a diagonal elevator. So cool and brutalist. I love this missile's arm model. Missile arm? Like the configuration when it fires a missile? Prime 2, my beloved. Yeah, I love Echoes. It's not like I made a video called Echoes of My Beloved. I'm kind of happy. It's gotten like 30k views as of late. Really has been a little bit of a motivation boost. I was writing a little bit of the Prime 4 script, but I feel like I'm not really satisfied with the way it starts or the angle, so I'm just at this point, I told myself, alright, just write everything and then like go over a second, get it all on paper, and then on a second read you can tweak it. Should I post more pictures of Lizard after ingesting the funny Phazon drink? Yes. Status: dead. This creature looks like it struggled to get through this door. Space pirate status: death caused by severe lacerations. Subject looks like it has been partially eaten. Another thing that I think makes the Prime artwork and art direction so strong, especially with the old retro, is that you see a lot of like nods to real art. Like there's the the Da Vinci sort of man in the circle with the arms and the legs and stuff like that. So again, it feels like references and inspirations for art that really just carries it forward. Cast by acid burns to the face. And this is my favorite save room in all of Metroid. Oh, it splits open and reload. Yeah. It's the one save room that you can like, you have a little window. You're not like full. You're not out of the frigate. You're like at the belly of the beast. It really feels like a save room in a horror game. Yeah, the scan renders are concept arts. They're just random things they did for concept. Like, you can even see it here. Save from Sanctuary Fortress, though. It's cool, but not Frigate Orpheum cool. Like, here, since the original game, like, a lot of it was putting Samus in different action dynamic poses to just understand how much they could do. But at the same time, you have these concept study arts that they did. Like, these are figure drawings, right? Of, like, a hand and a lady with her arms moving around just to get, like, the proportions and stuff around. So it's not just art for the sake of art and finding an art style. It's also, like, studies of how things work anatomically. And how to lean and things. Like, here, this is one of my favorites. Like, there's the figure drawing. They probably got a model and did some figure drawing tests on the studio as a whole, and then they, you know, from the figure drawing, they try to put the Samus armor over it, so they could understand how to break it apart and redesign the suit, or put all the things that bend and all these other details and what have you. Here's another one, you know. There's even like a little sketch idea for like a guide and a reference. And then once you got that out of the way, then yeah, you can start to go crazy ham on the design and stuff like that, which is what I think that, you know, and there's all of these are the things I was missing to see in Beyond's gallery that the other three have. Sketches and rough of like different action poses and things that they could do with Samus. They even did the pose I suggested for what Betsy should have been in when it's firing the cannon. Now that it's at like 80% and you're giving it a left arm instead of it holding the arm, it's using it to like sort of ground itself. There's all these like poses. Look at that. Look at these sassy poses. Look at these poses, man. Look at those line of actions and stuff. All these, you know, there was a lot of figuring out and a lot of time spent in this pre-production to just come up with the different renders that they wanted to use to market Samus, because then they would have to do it in the 3D model and stuff. And then they could go crazy town with all these creatures. And part of the reason I had a lot of faith on the art direction for Beyond was that you go to like the biology remaster, and a lot of it feels like, yeah, we just grabbed the things and just updated them. But like, there's no shot of how the Silex look under the suit and all these poses and stuff like that. Also, Chad, I love this game. I love this version because of this. I was talking with Deadweight the other day. Sorry, I brought it over here, Deadweight, but he said that we didn't know that this was called the Frigate Orpheon until we landed on the planet or whatever. But this save room contradicts that. Oh, I gotta do. It's not partial. It's full. Wait. I was giving Croco the view double thumbs up pose. The bulky shoulder armor is from an older Varia suit model, right? In lore. I might be mistaken, but because the Metroid lore is sort of all over the place a little bit. Which is why I've been voicing that future games should just not take into consideration necessarily what happened in the previous games and just tell a story. Doesn't need to worry about fitting into a greater timeline or whatever. But the bulky armor, according to Zero Mission, is just the legendary Varia suit. In Japan, it's called the legendary Varia suit. In the US, it's the fully powered Varia suit. And it's... Wait.
Forget Orpheon.
Yeah, he said my name. I'ma clip it. That... You have no idea how, like, reassuring it was after all these years in doing YouTube videos and calling myself the Orpheon. That, like, oh, okay, I've been actually been pronouncing it well this entire time. Thank goodness. Even though I know Orpheon is not, like, a unique word to this game, but it's an actual word. Cough, near, cough. We were talking about Abyssal Jury earlier today. In the stream. And then Shira and I were crying about Yui. No life signs detected. These creatures still contain heat signatures. They have not been here for very long. Nice has detected large amounts of blood missing for the carcasses. These bodies may have been used for nourishment, pattern consistent with predator behavior. Again, everything was painting a picture leading up to this in a sense. Or one of the 3 pictures that it's been painting. I do like Zero Mission making that special. Yeah, it's pretty cool. A little cool nod of tying the continuity of why does the Varia suit change in Metroid 2, but it doesn't change the same way in the original NES game. Parasite Queen. Parasite female, genetically enhanced by unknown means. A weak spot has been detected in this creature's mouth. Use your auto-targeting to acquire a new target. Scans indicate the presence of potent mutagen. Origins unknown. Creature exhibits the ability to fire weapon great blasts of energy from its mouth, a trait not present in the standard parasite genome. It appears the pirates have begun bioengineering program with considerable results. Again, it's all building up to what the Phazon can do. Which I think, you know, all of Icebelt, while being a bigger facility than this, didn't show as much. God, I wish Metroid Prime 2 Echoes was remastered as well. Oh, if only. Though I think I would. The problem would be that I would be staring at Dark Samus for a little bit too long rather than fighting her. She probably would look so neat and goopy and spooky. My wish for Prime 2 remasters change the arm cannon for the Dark and Light suit. That'd be cool.
Evacuate immediately.
My guess of why they didn't do that is just because of resources. You know? I guess. Because then you would have to model 3 arm cannons that open in all 3 configurations. Given the 2-year turnaround that Echoes had from the original Metroid Prime and the, once again, hellish development cycle, I want to imagine that the reason the arm cannon didn't change is because, alright, it's just easier if we just recycle what we have from the original game. Rather than having to do 2 more arm cannon models in their different beam configurations. Pawn wouldn't be able to finish the game? What are you talking about? She finishes the mission by drinking all the Phazon for herself. I think the galaxy would be at peace if it were Pawn the one after Phazon, because she would just drink it, and therefore there's no more Phazon. She drank it all. Well, okay, she drank it all with Darkseid's. I know that she would share it with her cosmic eldritch monster demon. I remember being a kid and getting so much anxiety from the countdown. Yeah. Especially because you just went through all of this like spooky setting and the music, and you fought a boss and all this other stuff, and they were throwing a self-destruct sequence at the end. Really heightens the again, dread and tension, which is what I think Metroid stories has always been about. The build-up of tension towards the horror, not action, that then gets a subsequent release at like the Parasite Queen, the Omega Pirate, Dark Samus encounter in Agon Wastes, the Ying encounters and stuff like that, rather than action-centered, which is what Corruption and Beyond went a little bit more. This is Prime 4? No, this is Prime 1. Can you get drunk from drinking Phazon? Yes. Actually, you get so drunk that your mind starts leaving your body, and another mind starts taking over it. Would she drink X-Parasites? I mean, I guess in Metroid Fusion, she's in Dread, she's drinking X-Parasites. Also, hey everybody. Glad to have you over again. I hope everybody had a great weekend. I just joined, and the first thing I hear is Samus drank all the Phazon. No. Pawn and Dark Samus drank all the Phazon. The dank encounter made her so cute. So cute and so ominous and so spooky. And it conveyed a lot of like her thought process and her mentality with just the cinematography alone. I do like how the remaster sort of updates Samus' stances and animations to feel a little bit more organic, while still retaining that sort of stiffness from the original game. That I don't know why in Metroid Prime Remaster she's just stiff central. You drink so much Phazon to the point that you hear mlum. Your mind starts going into Eorzea as the Phazon takes over your body. Subject Meta Ridley, cerebral casing stable, exoskeleton seal holding, begin umbilical retraction. You get to see its freaking brain, man. Spinal cord. Its heart. Meta Ridley, weapon update complete, Stinger ballistics online, plasma fuel cell online. Rip fusion suit. Yeah, I don't know why they didn't bring the fusion suit into this game, unless it like was causing issues with the new remastered models. When it wasn't out on release of this game, I thought it's like, all right, they did a shadow drop and fusion, and on that same shadow drop day, now it's fusion coming to Switch Online a month or so later. So maybe they didn't add it on day one so that they can have a reason to cross-promote Metroid Prime and Fusion again when Fusion comes out. And they brought the fusion suit back into the Prime Remaster. But no. Is that the Grimace shake that's making people sick? No, it's not blue, it's purple. What if it was purple? It's purple energy. What the Grimace shake is. Because people just keep drinking it for no reason, compared to Phazon. Is my best attempt of a unintended jab at the writings. It is weird. That's how you lose all your power-ups. Yeah, but I like it more than you went through the Doctor Who wormhole and then you come out the other side with no power-ups whatsoever. Because at least it gave me an action and then a reaction. And losing it here also helped me as a kid understand that Samus is such a cool badass who's not afraid of anything. Because, like, my gosh, she lost all of the things that made her so cool and strong, but she's still continuing this pursuit, not just like, whatever, I gotta go back and resupply type of stuff. Oh. It's also a game that was like troubled by, terrible development process. I feel like that's been a staple for every Metroid Prime game. Meta Ridley getting the drop on her would have been a good reason for her to lose his power-ups. Yes, I just think that the reason they didn't go with that is just it would have been too expensive to animate. A 2002 game, horrendous development cycle. My favorite suit is the Various fusion suit. Yeah, I love the yellow and magenta. Why is Ridley flapping his wings in space? Rule of cool. You're really drawing the line of Ridley flapping his wings in space, not the lady walking with an arm cannon that turns into a ball. That's been discontinued since 2023. They brought it back. They've been bringing it back per year. The Grimace Shake has come back twice. It's just not the meme. This Samus is the Samus who jumps into PvP fresh meat fight and leave unscathed. Yeah, she jumps at the horde of enemies while having like no health and still makes it out alive. And again, this room is what made me love also this game, because this is like the perfect playground room. First of all, and this is something that doesn't exist in Beyond's design philosophy, sadly. The first room of the game already has 5 doors. So there's a lot of options for players to choose where to go. I know for sure as a kid I went through different doors. I actually went through that door, which conveniently leads to the Artifact Temple, which conveniently leads to the thing that this entire game is building up, because it's the first door that the game conveniently shows you. But this room is also fun because it's a playground of sorts. You gotta jump on different platforms to like get height. You jump over here, and then you jump over this, and then there's a gap that you have to cross, and there's like platforming that's built onto the terrain. You have an opportunity to go under the water and see the fish technology. Call of Duty Ghost fish AI technology. And sort of the game has got it like getting used to like, yeah, you might be underwater. The physics are weird, right? Ha 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 ha. But most importantly, there's a lot of blue around here. What is blue in these green plants? Is it alien? This lichen seems to be giving off low levels of radiation. No match is found in the flora and fauna databanks. Oh. Talon fern, not toxic variety of Tylonesis, commonly found near water sources. Like it's already, there's the Phazon already. You're seeing its corruption and poisoning the beautiful landscape of Talon 4 that the Chozo lores were hinting at later. Yeah, you do need a missile to enter the temple proper, but not a missile to see the impact crater. I'll show you. So literally, I'm taking you back to 2002. I just arrived on this planet, and I'm like, alright, where do I go now? Well, there's a door over there. Well, I guess I'll go jump and see over there. There's enemies on the ceilings. Like I was like, oh, I gotta jump and get these? Oh, this is gonna suck. It's Glacier Blue Gatorade. And I just walked in here. Impact crater. Wow, why is this rock floating? Field team reports are in on an H structure of alien design. Built from the surface of Talon 4, studies show this structure projects a containment field. This field bars access to a prime source of energy within a deep crater. Science then believes the field is powered by a number of strange Chozo artifacts. We have found some of these relics, and studies on them have begun, which explains why some of them are in like Phazon mines. as this field could hinder future energy production operations on Talon 4. We must dismantle it as soon as possible. If this means the destruction of the Chozo artifacts, it will be done.
Recording to logbook.
Sad the Switch had not the power for light beam effects. Yeah, and that's why they need to make Metroid Prime 2 Switch 2 edition. How come none of the Metroid games have a Switch 2 edition except for Beyond? Which, Beyond is understandable, you know, it just came out for the Switch 2. How you're not gonna have that out, but... How come Dread and Prime Remaster don't? 0 out of 10. It's like, there's already an item over there that you can see. It would feel weird to see Silex show up on a 2D Metroid game as a sub-boss or optional secret boss. I think it'd be odd because, like, what other, you know, the SAX even was like an awkward fight. Unless they make him something of like a Ravenbeak with mechanics and stuff. It's like there's already all of these different rooms with like so much unique visual storytelling. Here's another dead end that I tried to go as a kid and I couldn't go because like, ah shit, I don't have my ball. To be fair, how do none of the Xenoblades have a Switch 2 edition? I would love to play Xenoblade in 60 FPS, man. Yeah, me too, dude, but like, I know that sadly Xenoblade 2 and 3 would get the treatment before Xenoblade X does, so I'll have to wait. If Nintendo wants my $450, dude, they gotta put Xenoblade X. Or 1. 2 and 3, I sleep. High definition dank when? Smash Brothers, but yes, when. Like already, this room is showing like more verticality and use for jumping and stuff. And oh, I could go there. You know, I could go there, but I could go there, but I could maybe try going here. Then Beyond's just a hallway to go meet Mackenzie. Phase on mushrooms in dank, dark regions. I do love me some Xenoblade 1, 3. I just like 1 and X. 2... 2, I didn't like the story. I didn't like how it tried to make the Xenoblade sort of like this big, expansive, interconnected universe. But I mostly disliked it was for the combat and the gacha-ness. Like, I feel like once I had Mithra, it was a GG shake my hand and then the field skills. And then 3, I felt like it was telling a story similar to like Nier Automata and others, but it was again a case of telling rather than showing. I don't think it was just characters telling me why it's the situation sad and all this other stuff, where I feel like visual storytelling would have been more effective. It's the visual storytelling and the tension of the invasion of Colony 9 that made it great. I feel like 3 just relied a little bit too much on fan service, and I know what that is isms. To carry its weight. Good stuff. And I like X the most because the combat and the gameplay of the open world, the customization of characters and the party members, and the variety of stories and cultures and species that made Mira feel more alive than All Rest and the rest. I think it's a matter of opinion, mind you, but, yeah. I think we've already scanned a lot more variety of wildlife than in Fury Green. The other thing is that it's wildlife. It's not like the birds at the horizon or stuff. It's things that you can interact with and they form a part of the environment. They serve as like a passive obstacle to your path that can deal damage. But the best way I can think about it is I see Xenoblade 1 as sort of like a classic Final Fantasy game. I see Xenoblade X kind of like a Final Fantasy 14 type of experience. I see Xenoblades 2 and 3 as sort of like Final Fantasy VII rehashings and stuff.
Recorded to logbook.
Choso script translated. The history of the Choso stretches back into ancient times, so far into the fog of the past that we know not where our ancestors came from. One thing is clear, however. The Chozo who colonized Helen 4 made a conscious choice to eschew a civilization of advanced technology. We Chozo chose to live in harmony with nature. Guided by the providence of the universe, we believe we will spend peaceful days here and plan to leave our words from time to time. It's also like that. So little, you got such a picture of the Chozos. Just so little. It's the way that the lore is written as well. The actual way that they chose to write it. These pillars have collapsed from erosion. Carbon dating cannot determine the age of the structure. And again, it's just the tension, the lack of the music. Beyond it, this as well, but like. Yet another room like the one we were in. Many doors. Again, a room with various possibilities on where you could perhaps be going. It's a room that also happens to have 1, 2, 3, and 4 items that require different power-ups for you to collect as you're coming in and out. It also is a game that has this little Easter egg. Unnecessary, but fun. Passageway to shrine. This tree seems to be weakened due to cellular decomposition, and you start wondering what could cause the cellular decomposition, and then slowly you start to learn it's again Phazon, that mutated Flagra, which is poisoning the water supplies of the ruins. Oh, she is Chozo. Sam is destroying the wildlife? Yeah, I mean, she is Chozo. Again, it's this song. We can hear the Chozo ruins. Bururin, bururin. It's gonna happen again. Yeah, you get history about this place sort of withering and breaking over time. The way that there it is again. Like there's not playing the Chozo Ruins music because you're supposed to be like, it's the dead air. How probably Samus actually sees the Chozo Ruins, but they play the melody in the background like that. It's just a foreshadow. Like this and Echoes understood the calmness before the storm, the build up to that creates the tension of that leads to a precarious situation, is what makes these maps sort of memorable. And in terms of environmental storytelling, you know, when you're playing these areas for the first time, you think, oh, these are just like Chozo built tubes and facilities, and then you slowly start learning, no, these are pirate tunnels. These were made by the space pirates who were raiding the Chozo stuff. Still working on the robot waifu tier list smash or slash pass. It's kind of difficult to find them. I've been pulling from the most obscure picks known to man that I could find. I also added characters you would instantly add to S plus tier or smash. Good. Alright, Chozo lore. Many long years have passed since we Chozo first took roost on this land. The passage of time has always been a source of fascination to us. It is a belief of many Choso sages that the truths of the universe hide within the tumbling currents of time's flow. Even as we search for answers there, however, we find illumination in other unexpected places. We know not how this ability came to us, but recently many Chosos have begun to sense things beyond the realm of ordinary perception. Strange sights and its inexplicable sensations floods our minds, filling us with visions. We take this growing ability to be a sign of our burgeoning harmonization with the infinite. Perhaps, finally, the universe's secrets are becoming known to us. Again, more of that cosmic buildup, more of that cosmic mysticism. Concentrations of poison identified in this tree's leaves. Ah, so there's poison. Elevated toxicity levels found in the tree bark. Scans indicate poison water source within 4 meters of tree base. The switch camera noises make me think that you're a tourist on Talon 4. Well, I am. I'm from Seebs, not Talon. Immediately, I'm starting to think of that infinite Metal Sonic conversation, but replace it with Silex and Weevil. It's infinite and Metal Sonic. New Talon 4 Chozo lore. Also, Ravenbeak is so hot and up chosen one. You can't beat him even if you try. Ravenbeak is so hot and so cool. Oh my gosh, Amos, have you seen Ravenbeak? He's so hot and so cool.
Recording to logbook.
I wish that the Meta Ridley fight was reworked. Yeah, I mean, but that would make more sense on a remake than a remaster. Crafted in honor of Talon's star. Chozo. Translatable symbol is the word Chozo. Also, there's a nice use of particle effects with like the little flies that come in and out. They just shrink, and when you shoot the trees, like their leaves fall off. Significant amounts of water once present in this location. And you're like, oh, what is this? And then you go, oh, Northern Atrium. You know, we're still playing this game without the music proper. And we're already seeing all of these things. I miss Padre Rope? Yeah, me too, Mewtwo. Also, I got a new capture card, so it'll be arriving here around Thursday. So I'm pretty happy about that. Even though most of the things... Who's Padre Robe? Quiet Robe. So all that build-up and all that tension leads here, but the music heightens the situation. The Samus is sort of trapped heightens the situation. And in this version, how she looks at her surroundings and stuff, you know? It feels in itself a trial. And it's a boss fight that's teaching you mechanics. Oh my gosh. Oh, somebody please.
Talon Overworld.
Oh, that was great. You know the Hive Mecha, the first boss fight? Oh, my stick drift and one of the beasts pushed me off the thing and I fell in the water and died.
Oh my god. The true YouTuber, the Orpheon.
Yeah. Metroid, you've seen it here first. Metroid YouTuber, the Orpheon, dies at first baby boss for babies. More at 11. Target this, you bitch. All that progress? What progress? I'll be... So what you're telling me, you got a cheat device for Silex's final boss fight. Also, hi Croco, says Mewtwo. Yeah, no, I didn't get a cheat device. I'm replacing Silex's cheat device, so that way he cannot cheat me anymore. consider your Metroid license revoked. I mean, to be fair, I think that my Metroid license has been revoked many times over with the fact that I've been defending Other M all these years. Orpheon losing his credibility for Prime 4 review? Yeah, I mean, I gotta throw it away so that people will actually listen to me. Because if not, they're gonna be like, oh, take this guy's Metroid license away. They don't like a new Metroid game. How dare he? I heard that there's an exploitable bug that was only exclusive in the GameCube version, the missile launcher cancel. Yeah, you can still do it in this version though. You just press the missile button and then the regular Croc Kai cameo. Croc Kai cameo. Yeah, you got your Crocomire cameo. Thanks for the Crocomires on the chat. Wait, I forgot to turn on the soundboard. Again. Orpheon being another M defender is something I was not aware of. Okay, I am a defender of like the things. It's in the sense that I'm not like trying to be like the game is perfect and it doesn't have its flaws and its problems and stuff. But I really think that it's not as some things are not as bad as what people might be talking about, and that the discourse surrounding the game and its flaws is not directed in the right areas of the gameplay, because it's, you know, the game was like doomed before it even came out because you're controlling it with a glorified NES controller rather than something else. Can you skip the Varia suit? There are, if you're a speedrunner, I guess you could. But I don't know how you would do it so that you can get to Magmor Caverns, through Magmor Caverns into Pindrina Drifts without dying. I just think that, like, people are just too obsessed with the story of Other M and all this other stuff and not really, like, pointing at the flaws because it's controlled with a D-pad and like, alright, if there were controlled with a Pro Controller and you could combine and mix and match Samus's abilities and all this other stuff, then it would work. And then that, you know, the localization and this other stuff. But I honestly think that there's a lot of things that Other M did right and did well. That I just think it's a little unfair that don't never get the chance to say that. I feel like at least Other M understood how to animate Samus, how to make interesting cinematography and have mysteries and stuff like that. Do I think it was an airtight, perfect story? Absolutely not, but... The ugly Varia suit? You mean the power suit? The power suit is the one that's only yellow, and that one, yeah, it's fugly. The Varia suit, I really like the Other M Varia suit a lot. I like it because it's a nice blend of retaining that bulkiness, but keeping it sleek so that she can do all those little animations and takedowns and stuff like that. Sort of the same proportions that Dread's power suit has. It's just that they emphasize more on the giving the boots some extra weight and the shoulders a little bit more slimmer. Can we get a Croc-Kai cameo? I mean, chibi? What do you mean? You just want a chibi of Crocomire? Look, we're back at the progress I quote-unquote lost. Oh, I didn't kill it. That's what I get for trying to read chat. One negative I see no one mention that is, in my opinion, an actual negative and not throwing anger at random stuff is that there are invisible walls in the game that actually don't let you get a few items, which you know feels wrong for Metroid. Yeah, I agree with that. It does feel like a weird thing in Metroid where usually those invisible walls were just like, you don't have the right power-up to collect it at this current time in place, but again, I see that more of like sadly a byproduct of you're controlling this game with an NES, with a Wiimote type of stuff, you know. Do you like Dragon Quest games? Yeah, I do like them. I'm just more of a Final Fantasy type of character person. I'm a character. Yeah, I'm a video game character now. A chibi of Kuroko in Kai's costume. I think if we're for going through those problems, Krokomaru would just prefer to have a Dizzy chibi. He said yes. Oh my gosh, it's the wolf boss fight. I was gonna save that joke for the beetle fight that comes afterwards. But I guess that this one also works because they're surrounding you. I remember seeing a video about how the Metroid Queen and other, it makes no sense. It's been a while. I would have to go and see it for myself. There we go. Sorry, I was drinking my cafefe. Cafefe.
Recording to log.
Like, I think if Beyond really wanted to have, like, the scans be a part of the, you know, criteria, that they should have at least given me the decency of having a sound effect. Prefer how the scan system looks in this game. They don't highlight the entire object. I'm half and half. I like sometimes the entire object because it makes it easier at a glance to know if I've already scanned it or not. Like, I guess it's a matter of preference, of course. Remember when Mackenzie just hands me over a missile? Remember when creatures made sound effects when you shot at them? Remember map rooms that were optional and you had to find them? Remember the rebel base? Speaking of missiles, Other M's first-person mode wasn't handled great either. No, but again, I blame that more to the Nintendo Wiimote era, where everything needed a Wiimote sort of pointer or waggle gimmick. One thing I learned from fan games, it's better to keep it a secret until it's finished, completed state, or make it your own original game inspired by the thing you want to make a fan game of. I would, and in that case, I would encourage people to more of make it into your own thing. Give it new life and use your imagination for it. Prime's HUD was so groundbreaking. Not only the HUD, but like all the little particle effects like on your visor and stuff. It can definitely be better with analog sticks, but I would prefer missiles still be in that gimmick. I just think that with analog sticks, you could even, with like a regular dual screen controller, you can still have the missiles working that way. Again, I think that the biggest issue is that you're controlling a character that moves in 8 or how many ever directions with a cross, you know? Remember Mackenzie? Me neither. Who? How many unique enemy types are there in Prime 1 compared to Beyond, I wonder? Well, the other day we were doing, that we're playing Beyond, somebody in chat had counted all the scans, the sheer amount of scans total in each game of the trilogy, minus hunters, like the numbered entries. Oh look, it's the wolf, it's the ice wolf bosses. And we found out that like Beyond had the least amount of scans in comparison. So like when I was playing Beyond, I could just name all these different creatures from the original Prime and Echoes from just at the top of my head. And like I was saying earlier, I think that there's also a clear difference where it's not just creatures for set dressing. There's creatures that are like in your path and will deal damage to you if you touch them or interact with you in different ways, versus a lot of Beyond feels like just set dressing that's in your way. Or is there any other good Metroid fan games besides Metroid 2? Like, do you mean AM2R, I'm assuming? If so, I would recommend Metroid X Fusion. It's got a lot of Kaiso hell bullshits in it, and traps and what have you, but it was a really cool game. It had a lot of fun and interesting mechanics and secret bosses that I would definitely recommend, but play it on easy mode if you don't want to be Kaiso trapped like I was. Outside of that, I'll just be honest, I don't really play a lot of fan games. I usually do more of those that started as a fan game, but then they just became their own original projects instead, because I feel like that way I'm just getting more of the developer's own world and stuff, you know? Can defend other M's 8-directional movement with it being a fixed camera game, to be honest. I can't, because it could have not, because I feel that the fixed camera movement came at a compromise of the D-pad and movement. That I feel like you could have made Other M a more of a closer to Samus third-person type of game, where you could see the surroundings in more than one way and hide more scan locks and stuff like that, similar to what Prime 1 does. But because it's the D-pad and all this other stuff, it's just compromises that they did for the game, in a similar way that I see the Mackenzie constantly calling you at the desert type of way. Also cool little bird Chozo busts over there. Metroid Planus is a good fan game and great way to play Metroid 1 too. I haven't heard of that one. Like, I wouldn't be opposed to trying out some other ones on stream, mind you. It's not like I'm trying to do some pre-production of my own Metroidvanias. Thank Beyond now, I feel way more determined. Just a script translating. The surges of negative energy brought by the meteor far exceed our expectations. A meteor? The pirates were talking about a ground zero earlier. We Chozo have yet to find a way to rid ourselves of all of the great poison. All we can do now is seal it away and wait for the day when a power to purify the poison appears. However, it is already impossible to collect all the pieces of the great poison, as it has already spread, seeping into the planet and hardening. You would expect the Ice Wolves to build up pack leader boss fight like the Shiga from Prime 1. Yeah, or like the splinters, and then there's the Alpha Splinter. Or in here, the beetles and then the plated beetles. I was kind of expecting that. I still say that Orpheon, try more fan games. Not my Albert. Yeah, no, my license has been revoked, Mewtwo. I'm free. I'm no longer Metroid guy. So, like, you know, I just feel that, like, when it comes to Metroidvanias, I would rather just experience something that's not so ingrained into the Metroid IP or the Castlevania IP. And then with the wolves, I stand by the wolves that I think they would have been better if that scene takes place during your second visit to Icebelt rather than the first one. Like, you know, you gotta go meet up when you go meet up with you. So that way the first one, which is more horror oriented, has just a focus on the facility and on the horizon. and the imagery and all this other stuff is building towards a bigger mystery. Because once you walk too close and it's the Ice Wolves fight, like all the tension and sort of horror mystery starts to fade because now you're in an action sequence and Samus doesn't even save herself. She's got to get saved by a Federation guy that hasn't even been established. Rather than if it were on your second visit, and now here are the Ice Wolves because maybe you restored power to the facility and the Grievers are taking over and it forced the Ice Wolves into this area and they surround you because they see you as a threat or their food or something, you know? Enjoyed having a fixed camera for Metro game. I think again, well, it can be better. I always liked a good fixed camera more than a third-person camera. Go see. I think you're talking to I mean, you're talking to the guy who likes this game, and this game. But what I was sort of suggesting with the moving of the camera is more along sides of Crow Country, where it's a fixed camera, but you can kind of rotate it to take in more of your surroundings and notice details that were out of the camera. My issue isn't so much that it's fixed camera and all this other stuff, is that the fixed camera came as a way to make up for the D-pad movement, that I feel that if you kept it like that and still had a way to move the camera, you could play around with designing more of the facility and make it visually distinct when you're going from one place to another. Because sometimes it does feel awkward when the game asks you to walk towards the camera. When backtracking or doing some other moments that I think could just be circumvented, like in Crow Country, if you get to spin the camera. Like, it feels like a Resident Evil game, but Samus is in control in a way that it sort of takes it, but into account or plays alongside with it with a horror. It feels like it's definitely something there to just circumvent the issue that it's being controlled with a D-pad, so there's no other ways for a player with an NES controller, so there's no other ways for the players to move the camera. So we'll just make it fixed camera. Like, you can still have fixed camera and have ways to move it around. I'm so glad I sold Prime 4 copy and bought from the money the Formula Scale kit. Oh. Banshee, I could give you like a special role in my server just because of that. Choso script translated. Disaster struck suddenly. We had a vague, dark foreboding, and it became truth. A meteor appeared from nowhere, casting a dark shadow of debris over the land with the violence of its impact. Its destructive force spent the fallen star burned itself out rapidly, and the incident should have faded into memory. But the meteor brought with it corruption. A great poison burst into the land, a strange energy that clawed at natural life with a ferocity. That strange negative energy emitted from the meteor expanded to encompass Town 4 in a night, as a spider weaves a web. Oh, so great. Ghosty, I agree that it works well with the game, but I also think it could work better in the game, is what I'm trying to say. I feel like you can improve it. You can still have the fixed camera angle, but by moving it, you can add so much detail than just... Why would you leave it just a fixed camera angle? Like, I've even played retro horror games that have, like, fixed camera angles because they're hearkening to the, like, OG Resident Evil game that have at least an ability to move the camera because they're not being controlled with a stupid D-pad. Would Samus react to Discord like more in a way, or would she be just stoic? I don't know. Like, I just feel that most of Other M's gameplay problems and the way that it works is because of the NES controller mentality. That I feel that, again, if you were playing this with a Switch controller configuration, you could still have the fixed camera angle, but allow a close-up on Samus so that you can appreciate more of the details on the bottle ship, because I feel like a lot of it just gets lost. The micro details that and textures that you made the world of Metroid Prime so nice, that in order for me to appreciate them, I would have to, like, go stand still, point at the screen, and turn in a 360 view, rather than like, alright, I have another camera and I can get a look at Samus as she's walking around and and stuff, kind of like how Crow Country did it. Those laser eyes are weird. Man, this whole planet is weird. How funny would it be if Ridley actually had his loud scream as an attack? Hilarious. He kind of does have that in Smash Brothers, as you think about it, with his forward smash. He just kind of screams at the enemy. I know he's got like a fiery explosion, but to me it almost feels like he's just more screaming at the other players than... Like, again, there's no rooms like this in Beyond, which is part of the reason I'm sort of a little bit more underwhelmed by it. Because this path to corruption leads ever higher. Yeah, you know, you're jumping over here and then jumping over there. And then you can have to turn into a morph ball. And then come out the other side to be jumped by these shriek bats and stuff. It's these like hallways that Prime 1 uses to just connect one big room to the other and a chance to load. What the design philosophy of Beyond is just... Griever Mines or Peak Metroid? I'll go and quote what Ezra Duke says the moment that the Griever Mines sort of intro cutscene plays. So this is the belly of the beast, huh? Gotta say, not impressed. Would Ridley actually be able to defeat those monsters from a quiet place? Yes, Ridley can fly and breathe in space. Could you give us a... Say the line, Croco. Yay! Thank you. Yep. One way I would like to improve Other M's cameras would be to change the first-person mode to a third-person mode to make a more natural transition for the player. Almost like a 3D version of the aiming from Mercury Steam games. Yeah, that could also work. I just think that the third-person perspective, not like a Resident Evil 4 over the shoulder, but like a Bayonetta, Devil May Cry, Zelda type of aspect could also work with Other M's movement and controls and combat orientation. That again makes the bird's eye perspective feel more like a solution to a needed compromise than an intentional design decision. You know, is what I was trying to suggest. Not like Other M already has like those over the shoulder ones where Samus is walking very slowly. I wasn't saying so much that angle, I was saying more like the third-person perspective angle that Other M has, but it's not, and it can be from far away or whatever, but it doesn't need to be sort of fixed and unmoving. If you're gonna have it like that, then at least lean into the horror, use it to have a jump scare or two, or a revelation or two, or camera panning and stuff that does happen, but it doesn't really take as much advantage of it to try and tell a story, which is why it makes it feel more like it's just an obvious compromise. And it can make some puzzles in some rooms feel a little bit disorienting and stuff. Just kind of bored with the reason you don't want the camera as more triple games get rid of fixed cameras. And I really enjoy fixed cameras. I also enjoy fixed cameras. But I just think that a game shouldn't just have fixed cameras because I like fixed cameras, and I think that having a fixed camera makes it great. I feel like if you have a fixed camera nowadays, you have to justify and play around with a fixed camera, which Other M just doesn't quite do in the same way the original Resident Evils did, to have the advantage of giving you closer details at your character and the world, and also play with the horror because you don't know what's looming around the corner. Where in Other M, it just really feels like it's a compromise, and that's it, you know? Mackenzie talking to you in the desert type of compromise. If I could change one thing in Fusion, give Samus a zero mission model. No, I like the Fusion model more. Then again, I'm biased. Yeah, they use the fixed camera to make some moments feel like 2D Metroid games, but even then I feel like you're obstructing from the type of details and stuff like that. That games later like Dread and Samus Returns, which kind of has the fixed camera angle, just relishes in. Because it's usually like such an angle that's so far away from Samus in the first place that kind of obstructs a little bit from the details and stuff like that. Like, I feel like if a game needs to have it's gonna have a fixed camera. It needs to do something with it into its gameplay DNA, and it needs to have an intentional decision for both gameplay and story. If not, it just feels as much of a contrived gimmick just for the sake of being retro and stuff like that, you know? Honestly, it would be really funny if you just get jump scared by simply moving the camera and seeing a monster in front of you. Yeah, kind of like how Resident Evil does. And I think like Other M definitely leans more into the horror and mystery with the leader and the mystery creature and what's going on in the bottle ship and stuff like that. That I feel like if they're gonna go with a fixed camera, they could have used it a lot for just building tension. So like my thing with the Other M fixed camera is that it's not there because they're trying to use it for something on the gameplay or the story. It's there because of a compromise. And I would see that for like the reason you gave the Soul Valley exists, because it's a compromise to have the Vike. And Mackenzie keeps chiming in all over the place because the desert is confusing. Versus like say Crow Country that has a fixed camera angle. It lets you rotate it on a single axis on a pivot so that you can get a better sense of where you are and where you're going, and you never have to do the awkward running into the camera like Other M and Resident Evil make you do. But at the same time, it uses that because it's trying to get you with the jump scares or things just suddenly appearing in the frame that make no audio noise. Similar to something like Signalis also does, where it's like an entirely fixed camera game. But it uses that because there's enemies that don't make a noise or will just show up in your field of view, and that itself is like enough to be the thing that startles you. Alright. I have lunch. But I'll have lunch on stream as I've been doing lately. And then I'll play probably another 30 or 40 minutes. So chat, you got my undivided attention. Sorry if there's no gameplay. But I don't have another time to have lunch, and I'd rather have a fixed camera, at least in the way, yeah, Resi 1 and stuff. Because like I love the original Resident Evil and its remake, you know. But I feel like that's a game that really uses like the fixed camera perspectives to at the horror. But even then, the camera's not too placed too far away from both Jill or Chris, and they play with the audio and stuff just to like make you feel uneasy. That it's not quite there in Other M because it's way more action oriented. Jill, my love, I know. No, chat, please don't get me started with Jill Valentine. Alright. Also, chat, this is your chance to ask any questions and stuff like that. The Resident Evil remake is so good. Yeah, I like the original one on the PlayStation when I played it. That I used to just have this one on the GameCube until it got stolen, sadly. Did you find the painting? No. No, I didn't, Pawn. And the worst thing, Red is on my island today. I went to buy him his painting on stream, but he didn't have it. Feel extra sad. I'm obsessed with Resi 2. I think out of the classic series, that's one I've played the most. For me, it's 1 and 2. I never really got much of the chance to play 3 because I didn't have a PlayStation growing up. I just played it. My neighbors, when I was a kid, had the PlayStation scenes, systems. So I would just I basically just lived at their house playing these games. So I also been doing with Red is that you can invite him over to Harb's Island for 100,000 bells. And he'll sell you 2 paintings per week, but if you buy a painting, he'll replace it the next day. So I've been buying fake paintings from him once per day since September in the hopes that he randomly has the painting that I want. And keep in mind, I know the mysterious painting has like a low, sort of a rare item for it to spawn, same as the Ophelia painting that I like, but man, my luck has been terrible. What personalities do you think all the hunters from Hunters would have? All right, I can give you one real quick for Silex. Real quick. It lives rent free in my brain, chat. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it again. I didn't bring him up. Okay, to be fair, that's still in character. Angry Man is angry. Come to this stage, it'll be a lot safer. Leon the Liar as Kennedy. Something tells me he's not a cop. Leon Stupid Kennedy. Come on, Sprocket, buddy, old pal. Please. I think Noxus would have like the I don't have the right words to explain these personalities, but I would kind of imagine him being like the all according to plan, overly justice good guy who plays it too much by the rules, because it would fit with his role where he even sees Samus as a potential threat and nemesis, even though they're both trying to get the ultimate power for the same reasons. So I would see him like a neutral good type of character, but his flaw is that it's his way and his belief or the highway type of stuff. Why in the hell Silex Showcoil in Prime 4 looks like the Promethean rival from Halo 4? I don't know what that is. I never played Halo 4. Croco did. I left Halo after Reach. I swear I'm gonna have to hear Silex in my nightmares, not because he's scary, but because of that scene. I'm sorry. Google Promethean rifle? Maybe later. Considering at any time I hear news about Halo and made fans more missable, probably did the right thing not playing past Reach. Well, it's also the fact that like when Halo 4 and the others came out, I didn't have an Xbox. So how was I supposed to play it? I would Trace. Trace is kind of like I would picture Trace as sort of like a man of few words to almost no words, because he's always it would play along with him being in a man of few words when he speaks, to play around with his role as a sniper and like a guy who remains hidden in a hunter. That's until you need to collect the power-ups that he gives you, and you talk to him in the desert, and he'll tell you about the great Kraken Solon guy in the sky. Weevil is chaotic neutral for me. I would say maybe. He also leans closer to chaotic evil because he was a space pirate and he's still doing a mess. He's just a loose cannon. I'm headcanoning the idea Trace is the Executor after failing to get the ultimate power, just to make Kraken Empire more dark. I don't think that would work because, I mean, it not would work in the sense of making it darker, but more so that Trace was never sent to retrieve the ultimate power. He received a telepathic message from the Olympics, but never it suggested that the Kraken Empire knew about it, else you'd expect they would send more than just one Sentinel guy. It's more so that the Trace is not allowed back into the Kraken homeworld and in the Empire until he's found a new planet for them to... until he conquers a new planet. Sort of like Omni-Man, I guess, or whatever. Vegeta and the Saiyans type of stuff. So, like, he went to the Olympic cluster because it would be a win-win. Maybe there's a planet over there he can conquer and gain the ultimate power to make him the strongest of the Kraken Empire once he's allowed back and stuff like that. Tokavi's just a discount Trace? Yeah. I don't like retcons, but can we just retcon it so that that Rundus somehow survive and it's put in future games? No, just give me a new guy instead. Just give me a new guy. After what happened with Silex, just give me something new. The Kraken Empire really expects that one guy will conquer a planet for them? Yeah, the Kraken Empire, that's basically the lore. I didn't make the lore.
Are you winning?
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe you.
I just missed Rondus. I missed Andreda, but I get what you mean.
You know who I miss?
Hmm?
Dante.
Yeah, Dante is good. I would say
Dante
Spire's
is
neutral
beast?
good. Yeah. Spire's neutral good to lawful good. Because he's just there to find out more about his people.
Oh, yeah, so, by the way, I figured out a trick to, like, support as many people as I can on Twitch.
Uh-huh.
Because now Twitch is making it so if you mute the tab or the stream, it pauses the video. So people that you are supporting don't get the view.
Yeah.
Put the ball in 1%. The video doesn't stop, doesn't pause.
Smart. Smart. It's more that I was thinking Trace failed his quote failed his harmonic purpose, end quote, and became basically failure, so it's to its people type of idea. Yeah, but again, the Kraken Empire already a la Dragon Ball Saiyans banish their people from the planet. So to them, he's dead already. So why would Trace return to the Kraken Empire? You know, it feels like an unnecessary thing. It would make more sense if he actually succeeds and then tries to take over the Empire and usurp the throne or something like that. But Trace is in exile, you know? It's not like Prince Zuko who keeps running into the Fire Nation and that's why they get executed and try to kill him or whatever. No, this guy is just like banished from the get-go.
You're saying that the Trace are just like Super Saiyans?
Yes, the Kraken Empire is basically like Super Saiyans. Once they grow at a certain age, they exile them from the homeworld, and they're only allowed back if they conquer another planet for them to add to the Empire.
Yeah, that's literally Saiyan lore. So you're telling me there's a Frieza?
No.
There's no Frieza in Metroid? Damn, now I'm sad.
Because there's nothing higher than the Krakens in the same way that the Saiyans subjugated themselves to Frieza.
So... Okay. So it's like the Chosos are like the most... Like the ones that know everything?
Ravenbeak is the closest you're going to get to a Frieza in this universe.
I was gonna say Ridley. Yeah, okay, I see it.
Ridley's more of your BoJack. Get it? Get it?
That you know what? That's a good reference. That's a
Get it?
character that I haven't heard in a while. Yeah,
Yeah, I know, right? He's BoJack.
I haven't heard of BoJack yet.
Or if
that's
not, he's
true
more of a
reference
Red
for you.
Ribbon Army type of guy.
Ridley?
Mm-hmm.
So Space Pirates is more of like the Red Ribbon Army.
I would say so. They're closer to the Red Ribbon Army, and Ravenbeak is more like your Frieza, who, if he showed up, he would destroy the Red Ribbon Army without a single thought or problem.
Understandably so.
Huh?
Understandably so.
Yeah. In which case, I'm trying to think who would be Piccolo in the Metroid universe.
Like the Namekians.
Yeah, the Namekians.
Honestly, you know what? Namekians will be Chosos.
Hmm.
It's the closest race that I can think of because Namekian also have like
Yeah.
the Dragon Tribe and the
two
the
different
Spiritual
tribes.
Tribe.
I just put
Yeah, the Water
Frieza.
Tribe and the Dragon Tribe.
Yeah, I put Frieza's because of like him and King Cold and Cooler and stuff and getting more power and stuff. And how Frieza's own wish for immortality or greater unmatched power leads to his downfall, with Goku, aka Samus, awakening to a prophesized type of evolution that defeats the big guy at the end.
In that case, yeah, it is more like Frieza was going to say that maybe then Ravenbeak is more like King Piccolo.
Yeah, as well. Again, Akira Toriyama villains are all kind of like power obsessed.
100. Except for Boo.
I mean, Boo is just chaos. That's
Boo
kinda
is
why I
just
don't
the
like
definition
him.
of chaos, yeah. That's why a lot of people didn't like the Boo saga.
Because I don't like a villain who's angry and evil for the sake of chaos or being angry and evil.
It only works a few times, and it's only when you match the evil with unhingedness. It's kind of like Kefka and Joker.
Yeah, but Kefka and Joker have a lot of reasons to why they act and do the ways they do. It's not just because it's
They do
funny.
exactly like there's a reason, and it's just evil.
In a way,
Like, you need
Kefka's
to
insanity
balance.
is also to move the plot forward into awakening the Triple Triad. Sorry, the Warring Triad. I got triple.
Yeah, triple. I was gonna say. That. I don't think you'd be the Kefka with playing card games.
Yeah, not yet. So Noxus, Trace, Silex, and Weevil. Forgot the other hunters' names. Candon, who would definitely fit the most chaotic evil out of the entire cast, because he's honestly just a bioengineered super soldier that went insane and wants more power to create more chaos. Because
Kefka.
They fucked with, closer to Kefka in that regard. And then Silas. Boo was more of a force of nature. No thoughts, no goal. Just destruction. Which is scary, and is scary in and of itself. Yeah, it is, but I just find it less compelling because it's like they're trying to make it so that the kid's innocence is the strongest thing towards evil and all this other stuff. But at the end of the day, you have these two grown-ass adults punching a bubblegum guy who is just destruction for destruction's sake, versus sort of Frieza, where it felt like a cat and mouse game, and there's the tension and the fear behind Frieza. Or even with Cell and their motivations and the fact that it's kind of like we were talking about Ridley. Ridley makes it scarier because you can reason with him. And I guess the way that almost could have with Super Boo or regular Majin Buu.
Yeah, that's why I like Super Boo a lot more than regular Majin Buu, because Fat Boo is just like the dumb version. Like he's just a baby. He's learning. Kid Buu is just nature. Super Boo is,
Yeah, for
like
me,
the
I
more
like
recent-
more regular Majin Buu than Super Buu.
Mm-hmm.
Because Majin Buu is stupid. That it makes you see that and feel that the reason Majin Buu is evil is out of a nature versus nurture type of story. Compared to
exactly.
which follows alongside with the rest of the Dragon Ball Z villains and why they're so memorable, in my opinion. Vegeta is the way he is because of the way his father raised him into that nurture of being prideful and the prince of all Saiyans, in the same way that Frieza was with King Cold into thinking himself superior to all their life forms, and then Cell with its obsession to become perfect because of the way
Yeah,
Dr. Giro made him and all this other stuff. That I felt that the dynamic between Boo and Bobbity was the perfect thing because they established that Boo is just not necessarily evil. It's just that the guy who's got control of him is making him do evil things, and he's just having fun doing it because he's, like you say, a dumbass.
exactly.
Yeah, he's called Bobbity.
His name is Bob.
Yeah,
the bad guy who
it's
waits
a-
his
it's
Majin
a-
Buu is called Bobbity.
An evil guy's named Bob.
and
Yeah,
the
evil
the
guy's
dad
named
of Babidi is Bibidi.
Bobbity
So
Boo,
it was a joke
and
because exactly.
yeah, and they
Bibbidi
changed it
Bobbidi
to
Boo.
Bibbidi Bobbidi Boo.
Yeah.
Because he's got a brother called Bibbidi.
Oh gosh.
Dude, talk about the show where there's characters called fucking Nappa and Vegeta and vegetables.
Yeah, true. And Chi-Chi.
And Chi-Chi.
You saw what Mewtwo said?
What?
He says that you are Perfect Cell and I'm Super Kamiguru.
Thanks for that compliment. I just love the way Perfect Cell and Frieza talk.
Mm-hmm.
It's how they stage their drama. Ha! He should feel lucky. He's the first one to be touched by my perfect body.
If you're so perfect, how you're dead?
Mm-hmm. The
Get
scene with
into my
Goku
belly,
burning Vegeta and
Bachman.
Vegeta letting all of his emotions out is still such a highlight for me. Yeah, agreed. Because, like, the other cool thing with Majin Buu that only happens with Fat Buu is that Mr. Satan turns him evil. It turns him good.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like the one time a villain is sort of subdued and defeated, not because Goku punched him very, very hard and he exploded, but because a regular ass good guy showed Majin Buu kindness. Recurring joke here. And stuff like that. That when he turned into like Super Buu, it kind of felt like the same reason they added Cell into the story. Because it's shonen, we gotta have people punching each other. And
Yeah.
Goku and the others losing to teenagers just seems dumb.
Dude, I'm excited but also sad because Genki Masuri is gonna be happening soon. And probably they're gonna announce the next Dragon Ball content, which is going to be the first without any kind of Akira Toriyama input.
And that will be my vibe check.
And not only that, it's going to be the announcement of the voice actor for Goku, which probably is gonna say, "I'm retiring," and I'm like, "Go Queen, rest. You've been screaming for 50 years."
I'm more interested on who's gonna voice act Motoko Kusanagi now that her OG voice actress passed away.
Oh
And-
yeah, me too.
And there's a new anime based on the manga coming out.
There should be already like a casting for.
Huh?
There should be a casting for Makoto. Alright.
There's no news on the show.
There's no news on the show. Damn, I thought it was coming out this year.
They're really keeping that under wraps. We don't know anything about it. I think they might be announcing stuff next month. But
It's
yeah.
smart because there's a lot of judgment nowadays of like what's coming without the release.
All that we have is like a teaser trailer of it being a thing, 2 posters that call back to the original art from the manga, from Shirio Masamune's art, and then there is some concept art here and there of the mayor that's very neat and makes me excited because it captures all of her different faces. I'll be right back. I'm gonna get water.
Me too. I'll be right back, Chad. You're gonna be alone.
Just 5 minutes. I'll be right back.
I'm back.
Oh my bad, Chad. I should have left you with this while I was away. Cause no lizards. Thank brain. Lizard had enough of being bullied by the stream. Over the weekend, we were playing Smash with my in-law, and he just like I heard already told him about Prime 4 and all this other stuff because he was also kind of looking, anticipating it to see whether or not he got a Switch 2 for it and stuff. You know, I told him more about the game, and he was like, "Well, can you give me like at least one thing that you enjoy, just for like silliness sake?" And I just mentioned View. All right, so I'm gonna stream for like another 30 minutes, and then I'll probably call this a screen. The menu screen has had the GameCube, Wii, and Switch one. Yeah, imagine if they made. It'd be cool if they ever make a Switch 2 upgrades version, that it would change the Switch 1 to a Switch 2 model. But I don't know if that might be too complicated under the hood. Viewers are Anthony to protect through the hate. Yeah. I just find it silly the more I thought about it, because I've been talking with other people about Beyond. Well, people who like it, people who dislike it, and just trying to gather their thoughts and opinions in general. Just not so much for like a video review or make a point or something like that, but you know, just chit-chatting with people. And I just find it surprising, because usually one of the questions I ask people, and I wanted to ask here on chat, just to also get your point on this, is like both Mackenzie unfortunately was doomed to be Adam 2.0, a Federation guy who once again gives the orders to Samus throughout the entire game. And I can understand that without just saying the reason that you disliked Adam is because he was being a dick, which, you know, fair and understandable. What would be the reasons that you prefer one character over the other? Because in my mind, I dislike both equally, from the point that they just continue to boss me around, same as the Aurora unit. View is the only character who deserves no hate in Beyond. Yeah. I was gonna make an argument for even Samoza, but nah, View. Overwhelming toxin levels have run the leaves. It's cool that the room that's next to the Sun Chamber, that's connected to the Magmor Caverns elevator, which you can go into right now if you're walking around in circles, and not be me who knows where to go. There is a scan log from the Chozos that suggests that Flagra was also affected by the Great Poison, and now it's continuing this process by infecting its poison into the rest of the environment. That I thought was cool. Switch 2 at the very least allows me to relive one of the most peak eras of gaming through two games, Metroid Prime Remaster and Kirby Air Riders. Yeah, agreed. It's just that the Switch 2 needs a little bit more to justify the $450 price tag. Mackenzie's worse than Adam because he keeps bothering you. I prefer Adam because I like Adam being a counter to Samus's emotional side with his logical side. It's a really good characterization for Adam, in my opinion, that is only hurt by poor gameplay integration. That makes... You know what, Ghost? Yeah, I agree a lot with that perspective. I guess in a way you could say it with Mackenzie, but because Samus isn't contributing anything with her body language, it kind of doesn't work as well. There should be points to contact, not a guy. There should be points of contact, not a guy. It's my take on giving Samus any support in the game. Yeah, I mean, I just think that, like, you could, if you just give me the option of just doing this, right? and that would shut off the character and the hint system at the same time, then problem solved, in my opinion. You know, there's still Mackenzie. He'll still say the things he says when you meet him, but he's not interrupting me elsewhere. Because I really wanted to like have that before Beyond came out. I'd be like, all right, I'm gonna turn off the hint system. I'm gonna get lost and walk in circles. I'm gonna ask chat not to help me. We're doing this live, baby, and then like, of course, I couldn't even do that. What have other people think about you? Well, first of all, to do the Mackenzie Adam situation. People dislike Adam because of him being a jerk to Samus. But most of the time, I feel like the issue with that and why people have voiced is obviously just Other M's unfortunate placement in the timeline. Where if it were a prequel game that took place before Zero Mission, closer to say when Samus leaves the Federation and Ian's sacrifice, then it would like it would help make the clash between Adam and Samus make more sense, and for a Federation commander like Adam and to hold this sort of petty grudge because he just had to sacrifice his brother and then lose somebody that he saw as a sister or daughter or whatever. And so like the Samus emotional state would also make sense and all this other stuff. But in regards to what Other M actually is and stuff like that, it's just like the way, because the characters don't really have a chance to talk to each other, bury the hatchet and start working together. That's what most people dislike from Adam in like Other M's story, which I agree. I feel like the game would have very much benefited from Adam and Samus slowly burying the hatchet through the mission, leading up to his sacrifice in Sector Zero and stuff like that. Well, Mackenzie, the thing is that, you know, I like, and as other people have also told me, that he's like a fish out of water. He's not supposed to be there and all this other stuff, and his silly attempts at humor are a way to hide his fanboy at Samus while just trying to stay professional and just show you how much of like a guy who's in over his head in the Metroid universe. But he interrupts the gameplay a little bit more than Adam. In like, at least there was people who, even though they disliked Adam, told me that like at least he was easier to stomach because he's like a guy with a rank, with authority in the Federation, and a guy who has like history with Samus that would make this make a little bit more natural. Versus Mackenzie, who's just I just met you, and this is crazy. But here's Lamorntech. So call me maybe.
Really crazy. Ah.
Do they also recognize that View is the only one of the thing that deserves no hate? Yeah, most people that I've talked really like View. Because of his angle as a robot, because of his gameplay mechanic where he has to actually go and punch things instead of shooting them from afar, and you can like also have him break things. Well, my issue with Adam was that he's affecting the gameplay by not giving you access to stuff you already have. That was kind of whack. Writing-wise, you can do a lot. Yeah, I agree. I just think it's one of those things that it could have been better handled in Other M. It's not like a video I have for after the Prime 4 review that I've been writing alongside the Prime 1 lore video is a rewrite of Metroid Other M. Or sort of like a re-edit to just change the changing the context could add so much to it. Funny how Flagra could have considered the Great Poison if someone was playing it blind. Yeah, precisely. It's part of the cool thing. You would have thought that maybe this is a thing that came out from the sky or whatever. But it's the thing I like about the Prime games is that the more you play it and the more you read, the more it starts to make sense with the whatever you're seeing. And for me, it was kind of cool that like the first time I played and I didn't read any of the scans, I just assumed a story for what of the game based on the cutscenes and the ebb and flow of where I was going and what was I doing. That it was so interesting to then go and read the scans and try and see how close or far away I was out of to what actually is happening, versus beyond that. The more I played and the more I read and the more I think about it, less it makes sense. I do like the fact that Samus becomes more and more conflicted about Adam's allegiance in the game and starts to listen him less because of that. But one fatal mistake is with his sacrifice really hurts that story for me. Yeah, I just think that you could have that and then it's still like regaining a confidence, or in a way, Samus starts to say that maybe Adam is the only one who she can trust, or something along those lines. The problem with that is that they're trying to have a cake and eat it too. Can I say how good of a fight Flagra is? It uses all your abilities you currently have very well. Yes, not to mention, it also fits with the themes of the Chozo Ruins, as the poison of the water supply, and the Chozos having more of a spiritual connection and all these other things. It kind of like does feel like the natural boss that you would see in this area, given that there's a lot of tree and dried out vegetation all over the Chozo Ruins that you scan and you see that it either has been deprived of water or is drinking from a poisoned water supply, which help once you see Flagra understand that Flagra's just been hoarding all the water to himself, or immune to its own poisons, that it can survive and thrive while killing the rest of the flora on the Chozo Ruins. Heck, there's optional scans, like orange scans in the pirate bases where you get Chozo artifacts and power bombs in like the Fendranas Cliffs area. This suggests that they were trying to control Thardus, and that Thardus was a byproduct of their work, and they were trying to just make the most out of him to just like be a security guard of sorts, which again makes these bosses feel like they're integrated to the world that they inhabit and the areas that you fight them in, rather than kind of what I filed them beyond, where bosses just suddenly show up. Honestly, Other M being a prequel to Zero Mission would have at least made the item authorization make a bit more sense. Not only that, but like I said earlier, also would help make more sense and rationalize Samus's inexperience in wanting to follow orders from Adam, and Adam being still sort of resentful and hurt of Samus leaving the Federation and sort of abandoning him after he had to sacrifice Ian. That I think would have started to make it easier to swallow, and then you can have like a new member on Platoon 7 who's your red herring for being the leader, because it's the one that Samus doesn't recognize. But he's also like a surrogate to the audience, where he could be the perfect guy to ask about Chozo stuff and Samus stuff as they're running around the bottle ship, that could help just showcase the Samus backstory that we never got in Other M. And again, serve as like a decoy red herring for the players to think, oh, KG's a new one, he must be the leader, because Samus doesn't know him and he's a new one. But no, it's like, how can Space Pirates really feels like they have a mindset of how can we weaponize this? Yeah, because like the story of the pirates in all of these games is just like their unquenchable greed and lust for power that almost echoes that of Ravenbeak, where even their own men are expendable, and they sort of fucked with their own DNA and DNA spliced Phazon into it and all this other stuff. The cries of this dying land echo in our ears as we chose to watch the great poison seep ever further into the living pulse of the planet. The dark energy sinks into the trees and waters, devouring all life. Peaceful beasts die by the thousands. Some creatures survive, but their forms grow as twisted as evil as the force that fell from the sky. Many of these mutated monstrosities remain small enough to do little harm, but others grew enormous, threatening our very existence. One such beast defiles our sacred fountain, disgorging poison from its foul form, replacing pure flowing water with cascadings of creeping death. Even in the face of such horror, we Chozo do not in fear. We are all that stands in the way of this great poison, and it is our duty to contain it. Like there. Already tied Flagra back officially to the Phazon and the rest that's going on. But it's cool that you can walk into this room either earlier or like after Flagra and then get that extra little story context of him. Versus Ice Belt, which is like, this is where we're studying green energy. What's the boss, some random fucker? Alright. Then why is he in the quarantine zone? Space Pirates would see a can of peaches and think, we can do something with this. See a can of peaches and be like, we could do something with this. What are the chances that any of the Space Pirates try injecting themselves with Metroid DNA? Probably high. But I think they were too preoccupied with the fact that they can use Metroids with like that stuff, then maybe the thing hasn't crossed their mind because they found Phazon. And Phazon seems to just be easier at causing these mutations and radiation stuff. That it seems like just the more logical thing. Especially when you're on a planet that has like a near infinite supply of such goop. The future is a vague thing, ever changing and always in doubt. Even if we Chozo could gain the ability to foresee the future, it would be a hollow gift, for we could never hope to control what has yet to occur. This fountain is an example of this. The day may come when its water dries up, and there's nothing we could do to stop such a tragedy. But we do know this, unlike the uncertain flow of water, the power of our will is strong and enduring. The will of the Chozo will never run dry. Space cancer, woo! I think it's more terrifying than just calling it space cancer. Given that the goop is consuming all life, all inorganic matter as well, and any form of sentience in between. From machine programming AI to the very spirits of the Chozos. Like, nothing is safe. Even the dead aren't safe from it. You know, it gave life to an inanimate object. I know you're trying to be silly, Mewtwo, but I'm just trying to, like, help just use the silliness as a I was just piggybacking to just help make the Phazon sound even more spoopy again. So yeah, the next stream might be just another stream like this because I want to play around with my new capture card, but after that I was thinking about going back to Pokemon Infinite Fusion and finishing that, and maybe Digimon Time Strangers and so many other games. Meanwhile, Pawn bathes in it. No, it's not even that she bathes in it. She injects it directly into her veins.
Into the live stream.
It's only a problem when she runs out of Phazon. Cleaning your brain after Prime 4, I see. Well, you know, I did 4 playthroughs of Metroid Prime 4 that I just needed to go back to the original one and see if a lot of my criticisms and comparisons were just because of nostalgia rose-tinted glasses, but you know, there's no rooms in Beyond that have like morphable puzzles that are like in the wall that require you to morph in the wall in order to get a power-up or something along those lines. What if energy tanks were Phazon all along? That's what Pawn keeps saying. Resurrecting the dead is probably one of the most appealing things about Phazon the pirates would want. Probably. The thing is that the pirates never got to that level of the research. They think the Chozo's dead. Well, the Chozos in this world sort of like abandon their fleshy bodies, and then their very, you know, beings got corrupted by the goop. Excuse me. Scientists have vapor for brains, random space pirates. After replaying Prime 1, I definitely walked away with a feeling of brain rot is killing video games. Yeah, I feel the same. Brain rot and people just becoming over compliant with, I am told what to do and then I'm told what to think via dialogue or narrations and stuff like that. That people just don't look at the cinematic visual storytelling anymore. It's about what, you know, blank character says, which I blame a lot is like the success of Sony's AAA game design philosophy, where it's always characters talking to each other in a more movie oriented fashion rather than like, all right, it's a video game, the player is playing it, and by the way we're constructing the video game, we can emphasize the fear or the dread or the tension. Honestly, Place Pirates would probably do crack. I think they'd be chasing the dragon, to be quite honest, given how they chase a Phazon. I forgot to recollect, wink wink. Like, I think that it's just we got, you know, this game's like, I don't want to point at a singular game, but like I feel like a lot of these AAA games where it's just like, we need to get over there. You should do this. Even like Death Stranding does that a lot, where it's like, instead of giving you some cinematic moments where it's showing you the cosmic horror of the BTs and all this other stuff, it's just Guillermo del Toro and Die Hard Man talking to you for hours on end. which is like the same thing that happened in Metal Gear and stuff like that. Instead of like playing with a camera and other aspects, and the soundtrack changes or whatever. I'm not sure what governing philosophy in the design room was. Besides, I don't make this clean this mess, but I did feel they focused more on Prime 4 being a shooting game and not like an adventure first type of game. Yeah, I get that as well because of the lack of verticality that there is in Beyond, which even a linear sort of action-oriented game like Corruption had. Samus, use your death gun to cause death to those monsters. Even in the interviews with the Prime 1 devs, they talked about how it was about exploring and shooting was more of a way to interact with the world rather than combat. Precisely what I was saying, that design philosophy is not there with the other ones. And kind of the silly, funny thing is that when you think about it, the original, or some of the original Prime devs don't come from like a video game developer's background. They were like ex-ILM employees, if I'm not mistaken. So they make mostly movies and special effects and stuff like that for movies. Versus like Beyond's teams where they're like people who make games or games backgrounds. But they you know, and I gave them the benefit of the doubt because like I'd like to imagine that Halo 4 and later Blizzard games didn't end up the way they did because of the developers, but because of, you know, corporate meddling and all this other stuff. But the more I played the game, I saw the more focus on combat. It's harder to. It makes me doubt my philosophy, I guess. Me go now. Me go now. Going to take shower. Well, have a nice shower, my man. Well, I like the Metal Gear games. I wish Metal Gear games that had less of explanation problem the OG games had without being a big, long, open world game. I feel like I love the Metal Gear games, and I love them for both their quirky characters and the story and the mechanics, but I really wish that some of it was just shown, because it's all usually just like Major Zero or Colonel Campbell or Kaz is telling me about these things over a radio off screen, rather than Kojima flexing that I think my brain work in movies. And it's like show don't tell, which is what I find so ironic about Kojima. Because like he's always bragging about his movie knowledge and that he thinks in movies and stuff like that. And I think that the guy's a great storyteller. It's just that he always ends up going more for the tell not show route. But like I feel like I don't like open worlds games no more. Samus, I'm gonna let you finish doing what you're doing, but I want you to tell what I tell you. Love, Mackenzie. Samus, I'm gonna let you finish what you're doing, but I want you to do what I tell you to. Love, Mackenzie. My favorite Metal Gear is probably 2 and 5. For me, I like 2's story. 3's 3 and Peace Walker. I like the gameplay of and replay value of Ground Zero so much, but unfortunately, like, you know, it suffered all those problems. I always loved Kojima's love for movies, though. Yeah, I mean, me too, but I just wish that came also with, like, the visual storytelling that made movies movies. It feels like Kojima is like, I like movies, but I like the movie, and he's talking about all these great movies that have amazing visual storytelling, but you don't see him applying that to any of his work. Meanwhile, he's got Guillermo del Toro in his game, who's like a great visual storyteller, and like he's just relegated to exposition dump, man. And then Peace Walker I like because I have like a soft spot for it. I feel represented by it, if you know what I mean. Like 5 mostly because I can play it without engaging the open world, but it's still a long commitment game for me to do a full replay. Yeah, I just feel that like I don't know. I feel like I liked Peace Walker because it was like don't get me wrong, I think Phantom Pain is the superior game of,
I agree.
Like, yeah, and all this other stuff, but like I don't know. There's something to be said about Peace Walker being able to be the foundation for Phantom Pain on a PSP with more story behind it, which I know that it's not Kojima's fault about the way. You don't have to tell me the Kojima stuff about Metal Gear. I got a Solid Snake Figma for crying out loud. As a working adult with increasing number of responsibilities, I heavily appreciate when a game doesn't take more than 20-30 hours long to beat. Yeah, that's part of the reason I'm slowly turning into indie, well, not slowly, I'm more into an indie game now, because I feel AAA is just more of creating what I like to call a forever game. You just buy this one game and it's got so much bloat in it that it could last you forever. Unless it's something like the Xenoblade games, where I feel like a lot of that is part of the journey and they keep changing. At least 1 and X, the gameplay keeps evolving per chapters. Versus like 2, that once I get Mithra, it sort of like hits a ceiling point because all the other blades will work the same. And the combos and stuff like that. Or even 3, where they just keep adding random things that are only applicable to 1 or 2 characters, versus like, alright, you get Melia, the caster, who works completely different from the rest of your party like 40 hours in, and that just invigorates the game as well. So is the way that Daisuke demonstrate his knowledge of rock bands better than how Kojima demonstrated his knowledge for movies and video games? Probably, yes. The Outer Haven speech, man, yeah. That's great. Priest Walker's second ending was such a perfect transition into the MSX games. Metal Gear Solid 5 for the coolness was not needed. Well, the reason I liked Ground Zeroes and Phantom Pain is because, for me, it helped at, well, like, alright, the fake boss, the Venom Snake from Phantom Pain, is what becomes the Outer Haven for the original Metal Gear. With the one from Peace Walker, who's the real big boss, doing the one for Metal Gear 2. And that's why one game has Big Boss as a friend and the other one as a villain type of stuff. But, you know. Story 5 could definitely been better, but I do love Venom Snake a lot. And I like how they made Big Boss's turn even better. I don't think it made Big Boss's turn any better than the one that was in Peace Walker, but it's been a while since I played the games. I just think that again, if there was more shown rather than tell, I think Venom Snake would have had a bigger impact on my brain, because a lot of it I just felt like I was being spoon-fed like a baby. Which in the case of Raiden it works, because Raiden is like a dork. And I know that Venom Snake is not the real Snake, and that's sort of like the ruse, the elaborate ruse and all this other stuff, but I couldn't help but feel kind of conflicted, given the fact that it's not like Metal Gear 1 Snake and he's still a little bit green, Metal Gear Solid Snake and he's still a little bit green, dealing with things he doesn't know. We're talking about like the legendary Big Boss, but so that's I miss my wife Otacon. Did you say nerds? Not nerd. No. Oh. Well, last year I made a chat. You know what day is tomorrow? Meme, and I'm kind of sad that nobody got the Metal Gear reference in that. All ballistic supports personnel reported Research Lab Hydra lockdown containment plan 3A in effect until further notice. I also like how the save room is just foreshadowing that there's a pirate base in Phendrana Drifts. New personnel must report to the South Research Facility. Failure report will be penalized by 30% ration cut and extra duty. Damn. Western Temple is in Phase 2 lockdown. All projects are postponed under no circumstance or personnel to attempt access. I believe that's where Thardis is at. Which again, orange scans. Not even count for the logbook. So how does Metal Gear Rising do then? Oh, I love Rising.
Rising is fantastic.
I would
Holy
call,
shit,
like, if we're counting Rising as a Metal Gear game, then I like Rising from story and gameplay much more than some of Kojima's Metal Gear games.
Yeah.
And I will admit that part of it is me being biased because of the Ghost in the Shell references with, you know, the whole cyborg. It's a Ghost in the Shell story. down to Senator Armstrong being the villain with nanomachines. And I kind of like the like, I just love Rising so much.
The music, the
The combat,
just everything about
the
it.
shortness of it all as well. Like the game is so short. It's got a lot of humor. Raiden, have you ever taken a dump? A what? Wasn't Metal Gear Rising is up there, but my favorite is still 2. Armstrong was such a crazy surprise. I was not expecting to love him as much as I did. Oh, I love the son. Why is people talking about Armstrong when we have Mistral? Goodness gracious! Somebody pass me the inhaler. Because she's giving me asthma. If you catch my drift. Was a Metal Gear Rising written by a different guy? Doctor, turn on my nightlight, please. Oh no, I mentioned Mistral and Pons in the chat. Shit. Oh, that's another robo that won't get away. Games like Portable, yeah, I think Rising was written by a different people and supervised by Kojima.
Yeah, like the writer was from Kojima Studios, but the game was purely made by Platinum this time instead of Kojima.
Yeah. Games like Rising or Portable Ops are the reason why we like to have more non-Kojima Metal Gear. Yeah, to be fair, I think like the usual problem of some of the Metal Gear games, and even as a fan, and I say this as a guy who adores Death Stranding, I feel like the issue is Kojima sometimes, and him just having too much power and too much control, and there's not like somebody at the studio fighting his ideas quite like it was in Metal Gear Solid 3. I should put that macro for redacted in 14. I don't know how. I don't know what you mean. Also, Portable Ops have "Calling to the Night," and it's my favorite Metal Gear song in the series. Yeah, it's even in Smash Brothers. As the great poison reaches ever further into the planet, we Chozo begin to feel the gnawings of despair. Before it is too late, we now make our last stand. We have begun to build a temple to contain this darkness, and at its heart we will place a cipher, a mystical lock powered by 12 artifacts and filled with as much power as we Chozo can harness. We wonder, though, even when we are done, will it be too late? And will the power of the temple and the cipher itself prove strong enough to hold back the poisonous tide that even now swells within the ground, threatening all life? So cool. So that, and there we see the flagger wouldn't be it, you know? We love Kojima's wackiness, but reining him is kind of necessary sometimes. There's a weird bug in 14 whenever I check my job progress. It's under melee DPS. Yeah, you should probably put that for the redacted then. I see what you mean now. It doesn't work. Sorry, I couldn't understand because it's on text. The way you describe Kojima makes me think of Hideki Anno with his directions of Shin Kamen Rider. I've read that he was very particular about what he wanted a film to look like and how he wanted the story to be told, and it was very demanding. Yeah, I see the same with Kojima, but it's more like I don't like the idea of one guy just having full power over a creative endeavor, because they usually are collaborative efforts, and a different opinion can help you flesh out your ideas, which is kind of like why I would like to form a team to make my projects and my stories and stuff like that, so I can get that extra input and have somebody there to sort of challenge my ideas or help me find solutions to problems and stuff like that. That if not, you get like the Kojima syndrome, where like Death Stranding is just like, all right, Kojima storytelling, Sam Porter, Norman Reedus, and Guillermo del Toro are gonna be talking about things in the bedroom, but nothing is shown. I still think the prequels are better than the original trilogy. All right, Ghosty, you've lost me. I thought we were friends, man. I'm a Sith. I only deal in absolutes. So many characters suffer beneath the blight upon the land, and we Chozo are no exceptions. But for all our pain, we can at least believe in the promise of the future. We have come to believe that a time may never come where we can once again open the door and banish the darkness we've contained. Even so, our vigilance will forever remain. We believe that on some far-off day, a savior will come and continue what we have begun. A Chatin Aran. For that savior, we will place our ancient weapons and armors. The soul who can gather them will be the entrusted one, the only one who can reverse the evil that grows here. Chatin Naran. Leting Daradan. See, like that's the thing, and beyond that would have been another cutscene with Grandmaster Chitoya. No, I cannot listen because the world of the prequels is just that. If you like the world building, you can just like the prequel shows. But the writing and the storytelling of the prequels is precisely the thing I've been complaining about with these other games. Tell, not show. And this might be a hot take, but Toriyama, God rest his soul, needed to be told no at times. Well, the thing is that Toriyama was told no a lot of the times, and those no
And he actually modified his story many times.
Yeah, and those usual no's and things that his editors asked him to change. Oh, my capture card died. Are some of the things that we dislike from Dragon Ball. So it's not
Exactly.
just somebody telling you no, but the right person telling you no, and listening to the right person type of stuff.
In fact, if it wasn't like for example,
never
the
seen that
biggest
before.
thing that people like of like Dragon Ball, like Goku itself, his editor thought Goku was a boring character. And
Come on, fuck you,
honestly,
capture card.
Dragon Ball, fuck a capture card.
Yeah,
Dragon Ball
it's
was
doing the
going
last
to
troll
be
before I replace it.
Dragon Ball was going to be over right after Goku transformed into the Big A for the first time, and Oolong asked for panties.
No, Ghosty, I don't agree. I don't agree. Like there is not the showing is just George Lucas CGI effects, but that's not moving a story forward because it's not affecting the world the characters inhabit should not take center over the journey of the characters, and it's not enhancing Anakin's downfall or his relationships with Obi-Wan or anything. It's just nice regular sci-fi stuff that you have for a background. So like, you know, that'd be the same as somebody saying that they like Beyond because of the worlds of Beyond, but the worlds should be catering the overall journey and the characters, not the other way around. The reason you play, you know. I'll say this, I prefer the prequels' bad art over the shiny corpo schlop that came in the form of the sequel movies. But the prequels are so fundamentally broken and like flawed as movies. Because like the same guy in the same movie series showed before that we can still show these crazy expansive worlds and stuff like that, but they add and contribute something to the character's plight and showcased in the form of shots and stuff like that. That then George Lucas had to go back and like add these CGI effects to just make more of the world for his special editions. A world, no matter how expensive and cool it might be, isn't as interesting if the journey the characters that you're following in it aren't interesting or affecting them. Which is why I feel that, like, yes, they have cool creative worlds and nice art direction and stuff like that. ILM at its strongest, especially when you got like the guy who invented Photoshop and After Effects on your team designing spaceships and worlds and stuff like that. But if there's nothing to carry the art, it's just pretty art. As a kid, the reason why I liked Goku was because of his good-natured heart and his love for his family and all, and all life. But he's become a power fantasy for the most part, and it's just sad. Yeah, no, I agree. I liked Goku because of the character Goku was, and the fact that he was like the super strong, super duper Saiyan is just kind of like the icing on the cake.
Yeah, but that's the thing about Goku. Like, he becomes a power fantasy, but his character never stops being what it is.
Yeah, no, but the writing
Like-
surely focused more on it being a power fantasy rather than
Mhm.
Goku's internal struggles. Especially
if
after
you-
the Frieza arc.
Yeah, but that's why I'm saying like for the people that say like someone had to say Goku no, you clearly didn't watch Daima. Daima was the one show where Akira Toriyama wasn't told no. Because
Oh my gosh, what is this burp?
all the power creeping, that was Shonen Jump.
No,
That
no,
was not
no.
Toriyama.
Shut the fuck up, Gabe. What is this burp you sent me? So cute.
Oh, that's the new PAL for Pal World that they're gonna add soon.
I want 10 of them. He's so cute.
Well, if you ever play Pal World, you can have all like 20 of them in the base.
I just rather play Digimon.
But yeah, no, Chad. Akira Toriyama always liked is the whimsical adventure. That was his like. That's what he wanted to do with GT. That's what he wanted to do with Daima. That's why Frieza Saga was like the best arc for most people. Because it's always was about the adventure, the journey.
I've been
Not
out of
the
the
fight.
loop as far as new Dragon Ball content. Yes, same here. I've like, I really like moved beyond Dragon Ball. Yeah, I mean, go see that. The problem is like for me is like it's a movie. The story is not the world where Star Wars takes place. The story of Star Wars it's not, it's not Middle Earth. The story of Lord of the Rings is not in the same way that Talon 4 is the story of Metroid Prime. It's the journey of the characters through those worlds and stuff like that. That when the journey is hollow, the world falls hollow alongside it. It's just pretty things to look pretty in the background, and then lore that you can add after the fact. But if you don't really care about how it's motivating or impacting your main characters and their journey, what's the point of it all looking pretty and being this robust and detailed, you know? All right, go see. That's where we won't see eye to eye. I'll agree to disagree. I really think that the prequels were an atrocity of a film that just
I also agree to
that
that.
is what started the whole downfall of what Star Wars has become right now. Because I really think that the story would have been the worst part of the story was just tried because it's just fitting Anakin into a suit because it's got to come full circle with the continuity of the timeline, which is the same reason why I'm like, please leave the timeline out of Metroid, please, because if not, we get the Star Wars prequels and stuff like that, where I feel like you could have told so much more compelling stories about Star Wars, and how a stagnant democracy lets open an empire, but it's sitting there and hearing the wooden dialogue from these characters and a director who hated directing, um, and had troubles writing a script that he did not want to write. And it was just sort of like a way for George Lucas to make more money because he felt outdone, that he wasn't responsible for Empire Strikes Back, that you can see in all the behind the scenes. Even himself might have gone a bit too far in a few places. Where it just echoes that lack of vision. It's all cool visual flair and what have you, but I feel like for that relationship, that what you call it, the Star Wars Clone War series did a lot better than the movies
Honestly, yeah.
themselves, because they actually sat down to see the conflict and the inner turmoils in between Obi-Wan and Anakin through visual storytelling and some nice cinematography and movements and body languages and use of camera shots rather than like shot reverse shot. I feel pain. This is democracy, you know? The current Star Wars universe feels so small. Yeah, I mean the problem, the smallness of the Star Wars universe started with the prequels because like they tried to expand more of a world without first seeing how that conflict with their characters. But this is a different conversation. So what do you think of Andor and Rogue One then?
I'm gonna say
Um,
I thought Rogue One was a nothing burger.
I mean Rogue One is a nothing burger. Really hated Rogue One. Then again, there's only two things I semi enjoyed from Star Wars since Disney took over, because there's aspects of the prequels I do like. There's aspects from the Clone Wars that I do like, even if I think that they're bad movies in the same way that I think Beyond is a bad game. Or, well, I should say bad Metroid game, because if I said bad game, somebody in the chat is going to take that too personally, and I'll get this big DM explaining to me why I'm wrong.
Can it be that one
But
that sends you the end saying that you're wrong?
yeah.
Yay!
I thought that Andor was very good. I thought that Andor set out to fulfill all the things that the prequels wanted to do, and Rogue One in a much more elegant and compelling, and sort of the world is motivating everything that the character is doing and changing their perspective. Or rather than it's just the icing on the nothing cake that is the Anakin story. I want to send you a DM with vultures. I just need to find them. Oh, vultures. I thought the Rogue One was just I know what that is, in the same way that you know how Prime 4 sort of dangles keychains in front of us with Silex and things that we know so that we like it. It's kind of like how I feel with Rogue One. But like the only thing I have, yeah, I mean, I'm not also gonna fight you on that, Ghosty, because like I don't really care about Star Wars anymore. Like I'll always love the original trilogy for like the ingenuity and the masterfulness of the cinema and the blending of practical effects with CGI effects and all the artistry that went behind it. But now it's just like a corpo slot machine, of course, and it's just it's so ridiculous that I just I don't like Star Wars no more. Just like in general, But yeah, this is when we're gonna be calling it a stream for today. I will probably be back Friday with the capture card. So we'll do at least the Empire is a threat in
Yay!
Rogue One. I don't know, man. Does it really matter if it's a threat or not a threat? Is it really a threat when Andor and whatever Jin Urso or whatever her name is and all these other guys are able to just whack their troopers with a stick? And that disables them and stuff. Like I never really I felt like the Empire was a threat just because they have big lasers and they win at the end because they're supposed to win in the end. But not in the same way I felt that they were a threat in like the OG movies because of like, again, the cinematography. The original movie starts with the iconic shot of the small, weak rebel ship trying to escape this ginormous Star Destroyer in a low angle that takes way more of the frame than the tiny rebel ship, and they bring it aboard, and then the stormtroopers just break through the door and just clean house with everybody and stuff like that, versus action Jyn Erso punches stuff and all that. I accidentally make this a Star Wars discussion. It's fine. I was the one who made it a Star Wars discussion because I was comparing Metroid's games to
the
sort
Star
of
Wars
the Star
movies.
Wars and stuff. But yeah, I'll have a new capture card. It arrives on Thursday, so I might have a stream just on Friday. I just want to kind of do this chill Metroid Prime stream to just play around with a new capture card and stuff like that, and then after that get back into finishing Infinite Fusion and playing more Digimon alongside anything else that you guys might want to see. But I probably will be here, so I would like to thank everybody for your support. You watching the streams and the bits and the donations have helped me get a new capture card, so really thanks a lot for that. I really hope that now I got a stream more so I can break even on so the capture card can pay for itself, but I'll do it in time, and all this other stuff. Yeah, Brian, I've been here for almost 4 hours.
Yes.
Tom, all right, but YouTube hate the bit. I'll bring the lizard back. Here's one lizard.
The tomboy tax.
Because of the tax. Don't break the new capture card. I'll try not to.
I will.
But yeah, like
I'll go over there and break it myself.
I'll be here. If there's more games that you might want to see on stream, feel free to let us know during another stream or on the DMs. Usually, sometimes the main trouble I have is deciding what I'm going to play. And then I just play Metroid because most people show up for Metroid, and that's how I get money. But I also trying to do variety is the spice of life. Sonic 06, actually, Gabe has like he's making a shit post version of Sonic Adventure 2 that just has a bunch of
Yes.
random mods for us to stream.
Yeah.
So I'm waiting for
It's,
him to,
apparently, it's very hard to find a lot of mods about the Adventure 2, but I'm trying
yeah,
to make it a
so
shit post.
I think that once he's done with that, we'll probably be stream that.
Yep.
But yeah, well, with all that said, I'll see you guys. I'm gonna go ahead and do some other stuff. Probably work a little bit on my. You're wrong, because the MC2 is.
You like the picture that follow after that one?
Yeah, it's a Dante emo girl picture that just cracked me.
Uh.
All right, chat. Have a nice rest of your day and take care.